I didn't know until yesterday that Kid Rock was lip syncing.
It's sinking.
I
Lip
thought,
syncing.
I thought I said sinking.
I thought I heard singing, which is a common mistake.
SYNC is what I was trying to say. But he was wearing white shorts, doing an alternative halftime show, and you can't be lip syncing in that circumstance when you're going opposite the halftime show, can you? And the lip syncing was off. So the way people realized that he was lip syncing is that the lip syncing wasn't good.
He actually created a Threads account, and his first post was defending with an audio engineer the merits of the performance and saying, like, no, I actually sung live and I told them to fix the sync, but the sync wasn't there. These are things that you do when the performance absolutely nailed it.
To be honest, all lip syncing sucks, right? Because during the Thanksgiving Day parade, you see them all lip syncing, and you're like, oh, wow, they're so off that they're not even close. So, like, all of it, just as a blanket statement, all lip syncing sucks no matter where you are.
You're right. Nobody does it worse anywhere in entertainment than Greg Cody during our various intros. Like, there is no. I am the pot calling the kettle a bad lip syncer because ours is the worst. Every time we play, the funniest thing I think about those intros with Greg Cody is he's forgetting half of the words. He's marching around. He's very pleased with himself, but it's obvious to everyone watching that none of this is synced up. He doesn't know what he's singing about. But if you're going to be Kid Rock, and you're going to try and take America's attention away from the Hispanic Spanish thing because your thing
say what you want to say, Dan. Shaking ass
is better. Well, you want to just I wasn't saying the shaking ass.
They were shaking ass all over the place. If you want to take America from shaking ass, you got to do better than white shorts, buddy.
He tried to shake his ass in those white shorts.
We don't want to see that.
He had the wrist brace like he was a pro bowler.
How old is Bob? Can you tell me how old Bob is? So he's singing a 30-year-old song. He's singing it in white shorts, and he's lip syncing. And I saw a clip of him on with Laura Ingraham, and he's like, no, I'm going to put it on my social media tonight. My DJ's coming over to my living room, and we're going to show you that we did it correctly.
Yeah,
and
that's when he created the Threads account to defend his himself.
But he said he was going to do it. He was going to show everybody that the syncing wasn't his fault. The part about the white shorts, though.
I think they're just jorts, and the lighting makes you think that they're white there.
Yeah. In his defense, they're just jorts.
Wow. So, but he went after the $100 million Super Bowl pregame show with jorts. Like he decided to dress up.
He had his name in lights too, Dan.
But Bad Money, he has all of those costume design. He's going super ethnic and flamboyant, and the counter is jorts. Like, the counter's not just jorts, because there was also that country music song about, I just want to sit in my truck and drink beer and mow my lawn and not have to think about trans people.
Somehow the whitest moment of Super Bowl halftime entertainment was Lady Gaga's dancing.
Woof. Did you see that, Dan? Did you watch, Dan? Did you watch the halftime show?
Yes. I didn't understand why Lady Gaga was there. Why was Lady Gaga there? Why was she there?
You're changing on the fly. Hit checks, metrics are gonna make them cheer. But the bombs start to chirp and riding high. Now it's time for action. Tonight's gonna burn this bar right up. Slap shot will light the lamp so nice. Let's go for a breakaway on the chase to raise the cup. We'll be standing on our heads till we need them at center ice. Hockey is back, Jack. Hockey is back, Jack. Hockey is back, Jack. Baby, and we'll meet you at center ice.
I mentioned yesterday that Mike is on an uncommon heater here with his sports teams, where he's doing some winning with the team that he runs, Highlight with Chris Cody. The University of Miami made a giant run that felt like cocaine snorting over the course of 6 weeks to 8 weeks. Then there's a court sauntering yesterday, a court milling about when the University of Miami beats North Carolina. But I imagine that what happened to Mike Ryan yesterday post-football, not unlike sort of the malaise that hits me around when Army-Navy starts playing, is that Mike Ryan's wandering around his life, watching and thinking and remembering about what the last few weeks have been, and he's like, all right, I'll do Heat Pelicans. Like, okay, all right, you got nothing. You got nothing else for me. I can only be so mad at Boomer Esiason all day. Give me some. Give me some sports here. All right, I'll check in on the Pelicans and see how Herb Jones is doing.
I recognized him. He was like one of the 3 players that I recognized. No, it's a fair thing to throw in my face. You don't watch. I don't feel like I have to watch because I've been right again for 2.5 years when it comes to this team. And it's not a debate. It's flatly not a debate. Like, you can argue stay the course, but it is irrefutable. No one has been more right about this team over the last 2.5 years.
It's amazing.
It's not amazing. It's irrefutable. It is data backed.
I don't even want to hear from Jack shit over there.
I don't want to hear from Jack
I don't want to hear from Jack
I don't
shit.
want to hear anybody
Dan,
pushing
he
on
said
this.
something today that I almost lost my mind in the morning meeting.
Yeah. Oh, I was there. We can disagree about the path forward. We have over the last 2.5 years. But to this point, it is goddamn irrefutable that I've been right.
Can I hear from Jack shit before? Like, there is no worse way to start a morning with whatever it is
around these people?
Your life experience is than hearing Mike Ryan crow about how irrefutably right he is. Like, that is not a good flavor to hit people with in the morning. So let me hear from Jack shit here.
No.
I'm not, wait a minute. Do you know how
I tried to spare the audience from this.
Do you know, do you know how,
I think maybe I'll just take today off.
do you know how bad it is that
Heater continues.
irrefutably right is so obnoxious to me that I find myself craving Jack shit. So
I'm literally just saying it so we can move past it because I don't want to get bogged down on that right.
No, you tried to move past Pelicans Heat on your TV last night and you couldn't. It hypnotized you. You had to wonder, why aren't they better with Zion Williamson? How are the Heat beating them with 3 guys? They've got
that was not my thought. My thought was like, man, this team is crap. And it wasn't about the Pelicans.
the Pelicans are more crap. The league, we spent a good amount of time yesterday talking to Pablo. I don't know. I really do wonder, because audiences are so fragmented now, that I legitimately wonder if fans of our show are noticing on their own without us pointing it out, because it's not like we've pointed this out that much. That's interesting that Pablo's talking about that Kawhi Leonard story, which is a little difficult to talk about, and everyone else on television is just yelling about tanking. And sort of the difference in those things on how easy one of those is to talk about and how not easy the other one is, but clearly the one over here is the one that is harder to have opinions about that are informed. And so I do wonder if people see the difference in substance on, anybody can yell about the problems the league has right now, because you've got that Sacramento-Utah game last night is an abomination, right? New Orleans might be trying to win, but there's no proof of it. The career of Zion Williamson, that's one of the great expectation busts of our time. That to me is worse than Ben Simmons in terms of how hopeful I was for whatever it is that was going to be. And I know Ben Simmons is an all-time short-circuiting bust, but I really thought that Zion Williamson was going to be a freak of nature who was able to be more physical than the most physical of men in that sport. And now he just goes to rot with a nowhere franchise.
Well, kind of his fault, right? There's no other way to get around that. Like, when he's on the floor, he produces, and he's got such an incredible touch around the rim. He's so physical. He's so strong. And what he's able to do when he's there is great. When he's not there,
Before the show, I was like, why didn't anybody try to get Kawhi? And then I was like, stupid question. My bad.
I want to talk about the Heat, and I want to hear from Jack Shit, because we beat him up the last couple of days a bit excessively. But as it relates to style of play in the modern age as the game goes further and further out toward the three-point line. I don't know how much Zion Williamson enjoys basketball. I don't even know how fair it is for me to make the assessment based on the outside, very little information, that I feel like he might not enjoy basketball that much. Certainly his basketball experience in the pros has to have been pretty unpleasant, generally speaking.
We watched the Pelican game totally differently.
Well, I'm wanting
I
some...
wonder if he likes this
Yeah,
sport.
you question if he likes his job?
Oh, I feel bad for this guy.
The part that I'm actually questioning is whether or not someone like Ja Morant still wants to play at the rim when he can get his 10 threes a game, whether Anthony Edwards still wants to play around the rim because of how hard it is to play around the rim. The way that Zion Williamson earns his living hurts enough that I would imagine it's less fun to play basketball than the average person who loves to play basketball, unless you're like Andrew Hawkins, who says, no, I really miss the physical. I just love being physical. Hawkins is on television right now, by the way, saying that the Miami Dolphins should trade for Kyler Murray. He says that the Dolphins should want Kyler Murray. I would imagine that would immediately excite Dolphin fans, even though I don't have a discernible eye for what the Dolphin plan is. It seems to me like they're rebuilding to be good by the time Josh Allen's done.
I think the clubhouse leader is Malik Willis. Bring him over from Green Bay because the staffers from Green Bay and the general manager, the head coach, they had some success with Malik Willis, which is, grading on a curve, I would say, because Malik Willis is considered to be good because of what people's expectations are of him. Right. And sometimes he surprises people by not being terrible.
The only thing that happens with Malik Willis post-draft is that every time Jordan Love goes down, they don't expect anything at all from the Packers, and then the Packers put up 17 points. Like, that's not an answer, and I don't care whether you're the guys who know the guy and therefore you want to try and develop the guy. That is not the answer. Kyler Murray would interest me, but please tell me what you're putting around him, because I don't know what the Dolphin plan is right now in terms of people they have that anybody else in the league would want. They have like 4 of them maximum that anybody in the league, that anyone in the league would want. Yeah, it's
Paul, Waddle, Achane.
Yeah, that's not bad weapons to work with for a quarterback.
Aaron Brewer.
And while Kyler Murray, like in previous seasons, would be like, really, that's the gold standard? I honestly think Kyler Murray's probably like the best option if you're hoping to upgrade at the position this year, and that includes like the draft.
He is the best name and hope option. That is not up for dispute. In terms of what's available, Tony, I know you're sour on Kyler Murray, but in terms of just putting an infusion of hope, people are going to expect, it'll be scrambling offense, even though he's been bad and injured for years now.
The fusion of hope or whatever kind of already died when you signed Jeff Hafley, and you're like, all right, hopefully he could do something. Mike already has the down low on him. Like,
we don't know how that's going. You guys are so positive.
Mike, go ahead.
Coaches always pop up.
Chris, if I may remind you, I'm right about everything.
Thank you.
And I saw Hafley at BC. This isn't going to work out.
On top of that, you get your offense, who you let go of a guy who is a scheme wizard in Mike McDaniel to bring in Bobby Slowick and Kevin Patullo, who both got fired because they were terrible. And now you're looking at 2 guys who are terrible trying to lead your offense. That doesn't have weapons.
Chris
that doesn't
Cody,
have a quarterback.
did you just try to have hope and he got you with a Patullo? He undercut you.
Mike's right. What do you want me to do?
He took your legs out from you.
I was whispering to Chris, I'm like, man, what a change for me. The dude to my right is just agreeing with everything that I say, and matter-of-factly said, there you go.
All right, so let me
this is so refreshing.
BC quit on Hafley.
Oh, my God, this is incredible.
Well,
let me go to jack shit on the Heat.
You're going to get mad, Dan. You're going to get mad.
We'll get back to Kyler Murray. Well, I want to hear, look, Heat fans are mad. You've heard me say over the last couple of years when it comes to fandom that if you are an Alabama fan, what you're presently watching, because of what you got to experience before, creates a hostility in you that is a bit unreasonable, because it places your expectations on where the standard is in an unreasonable place if you're Alabama football, or the last 5 years if you've been Patriots football, where you're just used to winning for 20 years, and so the standard gets put in a place where the Miami Heat are not the team they're playing against. That franchise that they're playing against has been in a quagmire beneath where the Miami Heat have spent the last 30 years. Like that, there are franchises all over the league that don't have what can be said is the consistent effort of the Miami Heat, and one of them is even someplace like Minnesota, which hasn't done any meaningful winning in 30 years, and Rudy Gobert is still out here saying our effort level is unacceptable. You get a basketball team that the effort level, whether they're playing well or not, no one disputes whether Bam cares or is trying. No one disputes whether or not Norm Powell cares or is trying, or anybody on that team cares or is trying. Maybe they do some of that with Hero because he doesn't play enough and they have expectations for Hero. So I understand why Heat fans are frustrated. But, Jeremy, I don't hear a whole lot of positive Heat fans these days because what they have is so clearly not good enough. And what did you say earlier that got everyone pissed off and said you don't know jack shit?
All I said was that the team that is 2 games out of climbing their way out of the play-in might climb their way out of the play-in by the end of the season. Because yesterday you saw the 3rd straight game of Kelowna Ware and Bam Adebayo having a positive impact when they're on the floor together. You saw another one of the young role players continue to play well, and Kasper Siakachonis. You saw Myron Gardner start. You saw a team that was without Wiggins and Powell and Pelle Larsson, who were all starters on this team and play big minutes, go win a game that they've lost all year long. When they have those moments in the 4th quarter where the other team is coming back to win, they lose that game. And it was a nice way to end the first half. You saw a nice moment between Spo and Kelowna Ware after the game. He's playing a little bit better, getting his minutes. And I'm looking at a team that actually tries to win basketball games, and I enjoy that. I enjoy watching my team not try to tank.
All right, I need to find somewhere on the spectrum between Mike's obnoxious sort of I've been irrevocably right for the last 8.5 decades and your I'm bored with the sound of my own voice.
Yeah, well, I got told by the guy to my right, I'm an icon to the Heat fan base before
Mike said
I
it about
started
himself.
talking.
Not you,
He
though.
wasn't calling
Him.
you an icon.
Yeah, no.
Himself.
Quote,
I'm an icon.
I'm an icon.
I'm an icon
Yeah.
in these streets.
So what am I supposed to do?
And
Seriously, what am I supposed to do?
now with the results in hand, people are appreciating the truth that I speak into these microphones.
Yeah, this guy.
What is the ad that Serena and Djokovic are doing for Icon? There's an Icon ad that they just stand there. You know it's them.
Someone better say something.
Oh, you guys don't know what I'm talking about. There is an ad for Icons where they're just silently themselves draped in some sort of...
I don't see Googling.
No, I see Tony Googling over there. Somebody's going to find what I'm talking
You know
about.
the Heat are 10th in the NBA in differential? They're 10th in the NBA in differential. They have a ton of single-digit losses. They've played without several players for a whole chunk of the season. I'm just trying to say that maybe they could be the 6th seed, which would be cool to not see them in the play-in. And I don't know, we spent the last several days complaining about every franchise in the league tanking. And while I can understand looking at what happened with the Dallas Mavericks and saying, oh, but the Heat could have gotten lucky with a lottery pick and maybe they'd... Like, that's not really normally how it works.
That was better. You didn't sound as broken there.
I'm sorry, but all right.
It literally happened.
I'm going to try my hardest here to not sound like an ass, which is really hard for me. All right? Really hard.
Yeah.
But you see teams like Indiana. You see teams like San Antonio. You see teams like OKC. Like, get it out of your head that tanking doesn't work. It does.
No, so that's not the point.
When I make the effort to not sound like an ass, I like to not be interrupted. Please. All right? I'm just done hearing about a 2023. Leo Messi wasn't on Inter Miami the last time the Miami Heat made the NBA Finals. It was a different world back then. You keep holding that up, and yet the Dallas Mavericks made it to the Finals, and 6 months later traded their franchise player, tanked, got the best... Well, they tanked because the trade was a disaster,
Yep.
and got Cooper Flagg, who was Miami's pick. They got Miami's pick. It would have worked.
Mike,
like, you can turn this around so quickly in this league.
I cannot use Dallas as the example that Miami should be aspiring to, given what it is that Nico Harrison did to their franchise and how the howling around the Dallas Mavericks when they traded Luka is louder than any howling that's ever been around the Heat fan base.
But Dan, they got the pick, right? 2-3 years ago, I said tank for Wembanyama. There was
and
a
then they
1%
went
chance.
to the finals.
Okay,
Stop saying they
doesn't
got lucky.
matter.
Everybody that wins a lottery gets lucky. Like, the team with the
The
best
Mavs got
odds have
lucky.
like 23% chances. Like,
I'm just asking.
It's a lottery.
The question that I have is like, it's really easy for the Heat fan base in particular, a franchise that has never had to go through what a tank and a rebuild is. They've gone through basically since Pat Riley got here 30 years ago. Maybe 2 or 3 individual seasons where they were one of the worst teams in the league. And then immediately we're back to competing. Do you want to go through watching season after season after season of being bad to collect those players? The answer is no.
I'm sorry. You just said it yourself. They had 2 bad years and were back immediately. Do you or do you not have faith in Pat Riley? Because when he's in the lottery, generally, he gets good players and he turns things around. I'm not saying let's be bad for 4 years. That's how bad franchises do it. I say let's be bad the way that the Miami Heat have been bad a couple of seasons, reload, and get a young player that has maximum value that you can maybe even flip to get a whale. But I'm saying stop treading water. It is flatly not working. That is not a debate. That is fact.
I think that another fact is that none of the last 18 champions in the sport have benefited from tanking in any meaningful way. And given that you're saying 2 seasons that end up in the finals, 2 seasons end up in the finals, that's not good enough. If I'm telling you tanking hasn't resulted in a championship in the last 18 years, you come back with it's not good enough to be Jimmy Butler in the finals twice, then what's tanking actually getting you if it's not getting you that result? It's getting you're no longer a sold-out stadium. You're no longer got the longest streak in the league of the stadium's always filled with people.
I fundamentally disagree. Boston won a championship. They got a bunch of young players by tanking. Oklahoma City is going to be running the sport. Like, San Antonio is going to be in that conversation. Yeah, you have outliers like the Miami Heat and the LA Lakers, that even the Lakers went through like a minor rebuild like that. It's how the sport is designed. That's why so many teams tank. Because you get a lottery pick, it can change your franchise. Miami has benefited from this. All the people that are arguing don't tank, to me, are just saying, I don't have faith that Pat Riley can fix this with a lottery pick.
Realistically, what Miami's been very comfortable with is shopping in the discount bin and then turning those guys into players that get big contracts somewhere else, right? So you have your base of Max Struess's, Gabe Vincent's, Tyler Johnson's, all these different guys that you make serviceable players, Duncan Robinson's. You make those guys
Caleb
serviceable
Martin.
players for a little bit, and then you ship them off somewhere else and try to redo that. But you can only go to the discount bin so many times, and it worked, Dan.
Well, you say the discount bin, but I think that the way that people get forgetful about whatever it is the evolutions of Pat Riley are supposed to be, throughout the majority of my career watching this team, he hadn't trusted young players and didn't care about the draft at all. The year they got Wade, he wanted Bosh. They got Wade. They got lucky with Wade. It's the one time they've actually had a pick that can change the franchise like that, and they got lucky. Like the other, Beasley didn't work out the way that was supposed to. So
I guess Justice Winslow didn't work out either.
But that was a 9.
Devin Booker was
that was an 8 or a 9.
Yeah, but
pick.
like when they're in that lottery, like Bam Adebayo was like in that range that they're never really
but
in.
He
and
was
they got
like
him.
12. But this is the thing though about Bam Adebayo. Like to me, the difference between Tatum and Brown in Boston and Bam Adebayo and Hero is where they were drafted. Like the skill sets on Brown and Tatum that's what they become, and the skill sets on Hero and Adebayo that's where they max out. Like middle of the first round is. Hero, what are you shaking your finger about, Jeremy?
Oh no, I'm adding to what you're saying in that Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum were a result
like a
not of tanking. By the way, those guys were those picks because they acquired them from the Nets. Those are Nets picks. Those are not their picks, and so you have to remember that it's not. as simple as, oh, be bad and go through multiple seasons of being bad. Sometimes you have to get lucky that you pull off a heist against, a franchise like Brooklyn that doesn't know how to run itself.
Again, though, I'm just going to say it. There's only one time that the Heat franchise has actually used the best parts of the lottery to get to the championship round. Like, that's not where you got Adebayo. That's not where you got Tyler Hero.
Don't let them forget about the Icon commercial.
Dan, what I found was a GLP-1 commercial, if that's what you were thinking about with Serena. And
All right, you guys can keep talking.
I do have a
Heat.
stat of
I'm
the day.
gonna
We're talking to
find it
Tyler Hero.
myself.
I do have a stat of the day, though.
Start of the day, start of the day. This is start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. This is start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. This is start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. This is start of the day.
In the 2025-26 season, the recently fired CP3 has played 16 games. Tyler Hero has played 11 games this season.
Yeah, my father's really mad at Tyler Hero. He calls him an assortment of injured names because he never plays, and when he does play, they haven't been appreciably better when he
El
plays.
Cojo? Does he call him El Cojo?
You need something from him.
It's amazing he's still here. We were at the Clevelander saying, like, man, he's definitely gone, right? He survived the Harden rumors, the Lillard rumors, the Giannis rumors.
That is a frustrating Heat player. Can you help me with the history of where it is that he was drafted? Because I'm doing it off the top of my head, and I don't think I'm doing it very well when it comes to both Bam and Hero. But they're middle of the first round guys, and I've found interesting. Okay, I don't know how the rest of you look at it. Boston's still very good. Boston right now is overachieving. Boston has a model architect in Brad Stevens that's viewed as knowing exactly what to do, not just because he traded for Porzingis and for Drew Holiday and pieces that helped them win a championship, but also because he had the guts to trade Marcus Smart, who was a very popular player, and then they immediately got better. But the starting point on it is we got Jaylen Brown and we got Tatum. These are picks that at any time the skill set when they're running around for scouts is, oh, that's the best guy in this draft. Clearly and obviously, they got two of those, and as they grow, what happens? Bam Adebayo meets him at the rim in the bubble, but as they keep growing, they get better, and they hit their ceiling, which is higher than where Bam Adebayo's ceiling is. When you just measure these things in a camp, Bam Adebayo was viewed as not what Tatum and Brown are. So your best player, your all-star, isn't as good as their all-star. Your Tyler Hero, when we're doing the simple measurements on what are these guys going to be, Brown or Tatum are drafted where you get the immortals. Like, that's where the immortals get picked. And Adebayo and Hero are maxing out their talents.
Both guys 13 and 14th pick, respectively.
The Heat have picked in the top 10 twice since Dwayne Wade. Those players ended up being Michael Beasley, who was selected 7th overall, and Justice Winslow, who was selected 10th. And you have all of these examples. Their last four first-round picks, 5 first-round picks, if you look at it here, where they were picked in like the teens or 20. You have Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero, Jaime Jaquez Jr. picked 18th, Khalil Ware at 15th, Kasper Siakachonis, who's a good young point guard at 19, he was picked at 20th. So you have all of these guys that they're able to go find and turn into good players, like in those positions. It doesn't always work out when you pick in the top 5. You can look at the last several drafts.
Sure, but then you turn into a team that is exactly what the Heat are. They're a team of baseline, just okay guys. Everybody's okay. There's no guy that's a superstar. There's no guy that can be that immortal top 5 pick where it's like, oh my God, here it is. Here's the guy that's going to run the league for the next 10 years like those other guys have. It's like you got Jaime, you got Booker, you got Bam, you got Hero, you got Khalil Ware, you got Yakinchona. It's like, okay, they're fine. They're 41 and 41. That's what the Heat are.
Each of the last 2 seasons, they've had somewhere between $50 and $60 million on the bench for like the entire year. Jimmy Butler didn't play for the overwhelming majority of last season and didn't try when he did. And now this year, you got 11 games out of Tyler Hero, who's making $30 million, and Terry Rozier suspended for the season after he missed a bunch of games last year. So while you could talk about like, oh, they can't be that good around Bam Adebayo, if $70 million worth of NBA players was around him that isn't there right now, and you had all of those other good young role players, this team would be better than the 8 seed.
Maybe, because when Tyler Hero was there, it was also frustrating, but he missed the first 17 of the games, offseason ankle surgery, then 13 because of a toe contusion, and now 15 straight because of a rib injury. And you're out there, and now Norm Powell is missing games. And I've got to think, even though I haven't talked to him about it, and I've read some quotes recently where Riley, not unlike Wilbon, just sort of hates today's game, like has had to adapt, but doesn't love the way that everybody is playing basketball. I have to imagine that Pat Riley is a daily kind of depressed about what it is this league has become with guys sitting and him not having the control over being able to get people out there to play 82 games, given the way, the probably inhumane way that he used to practice and people would play through anything. I've got to imagine that wherever it is that your grandpa disconnects from today's kids, today's 20-year-olds, I've got to imagine that Pat Riley watching today's sport is handcuffed because of everything you're saying. They will max out all the Gabe Vincents of the world. They will max out every 12 and 13 pick that they have, and if they get lucky on a Dwayne Wade, they can change their entire franchise, but he can't get everybody to play. Like, it's not one of the reasons I got to think Bam's untouchable is because he just knows he's going to be out there all the time.
Yeah, but look, helpful footnotes here on the Michael Beasley and Justice Winslow stuff. Good points. Devin Booker was there on the board. They went for Justice Winslow, but my point is they're assets. All right, Michael Beasley essentially became Mike Miller. Justice Winslow, however big of a disaster you think that pick was, especially with Booker on the board, that turned into Jay Crowder and Andre Iguodala, guys that helped make a final for this team that were key additions. They had value. And what I'm saying is when you're floating outside the lottery, it's hard to add pieces that maintain any actual value.
I have a funny story that I think of every time anybody mentions Justice Winslow. Can you guys look up for me, please, what Michael Jordan traded to get ahead of the Heat that year? Because Michael Jordan that year made a trade trying to get ahead of the Heat, thinking that they wanted Frank Kaminsky. And so he drafted Frank Kaminsky when the Heat were always zoned in on Justice Winslow. And Frank Kaminsky, on top of being a funny name and a funny game, also predictably ended up being a cement-footed human being who didn't give them much. But it was something that was laughed about in Heat circles, that franchise owned by Michael Jordan, one of the worst there's ever been, tried to trade up because they thought the Heat was trying to get Frank Kaminsky.
You know who tells that story best? The Phoenix Suns.
Yeah, because they got destined.
For all that the New York Knicks fans gave Kristaps Porzingis and the Knicks for that pick at 4, if you look at who was taken after that, Porzingis has actually had the better career out of like a lot of those guys outside of basically only Devin Booker.
So the details there are just slightly off, because what that was that Charlotte was picking 9 that year. The Heat were picking 10. Charlotte was intent on taking Frank Kaminsky and were afraid to trade down because they thought he might get picked before the next pick. They were offered 4 first-round picks by Boston in order to move up to that 9 so that Boston could take Justice Winslow ahead of the Heat, because they knew the Heat would take Winslow. And to think about how the fortunes of the Boston Celtics franchise would have changed, because I believe some of those picks turned into Tatum and Brown. Right. The picks that they were offering to Charlotte. So Charlotte could have had those guys. The Celtics would have invested everything in Justice Winslow, and we'd be having very different conversations about the Michael Jordan tenure in Charlotte.
I don't think we would have been. I think that...
Okay.
That's how you handle jack shit.
Yeah.
You got him, Dano.
Again, I could just stop. I could just go.
Samson, okay
I'm
him.
just a freelancer.
Okay.
I wasn't taking that out on you. Michael Jordan was that bad an owner that I don't think that anything that he would have done there would have gotten them out of the morass. I was not condescending your point. I was just disagreeing with the idea that any one draft pick would have undone the many years of incompetence that Michael Jordan had in Charlotte.
I think we fixed it.
I went back and listened to yesterday to Jeremy's question. God, it was.
I listened to it multiple times yesterday.
So good. I showed my wife. She laughed. It's like, what is he talking about? I'm like, I don't know.
So do you have the question there from yesterday for Pablo? Because he could have just said,
Wasn't a question.
Pablo, isn't it that...
It was an eloquent point.
He's right. He's exactly right.
Yo, that's a bar.
It was an eloquent point when all I wanted was an efficient question. Like, I didn't want a tapestry. Here's Jeremy's non-question eloquent point that never ended. It just sort of stopped when I ran him off the road. He fell into a ditch still talking, but he never finished neither a question nor his tapestry.
Going to the journalist element of it, like it is more complicated for these local media members who cover individual teams when they go out to All-Star Game to ask these questions, because for them, they're looking for job security, right? In a media landscape that's shifting the way that it is, do you want to be the troublemaker? Do you want to be the person who's asking the tough questions when you're making your money off of the team that you cover, giving you information, and they're your sources, and now they might be looking at you asking those questions as, who knows, maybe they're trying to cover up similar types of things as we're talking about. Like, all of these owners and all of these general managers are looking for potential shortcuts to win. Do you really want to be the person that now potentially loses out on sources because of that? And in this specific landscape where journalism already isn't being funded, why are you going to join the fray of the sort of outcasts of the league?
Pablo,
it's more complicated.
The thing... it's a full minute. The question that wasn't a question was a full minute, and it could have been, Pablo, are they scared for their jobs? Like that, it could have been that.
It was an eloquent point, though. A tapestry.
Brought me joy, a lot of joy yesterday.
So you went back and listened.
Yeah, I had to. I can almost say it word for word.
All right, please memorize
I don't like
that.
what we're doing. This is mean. But it's funny.
The wandering past the Heat game last night when they're playing the Pelicans, and you're a champion. You're a reigning general manager champion. Your JLI Cyclones started their season yesterday, and I've got to admit, when I heard you say it, starts at 3:00 highlight, it brought me back to my dirtiest days of the weekday matinee at JLI. The weekday matinee at JLI is a sad experience. There are a lot of, used to be indoors, a lot of smokers in a warehouse, and just the general feeling of leprosy in the proceedings, a lot of degeneracy, just anybody who's doing the too aggressively the weekday matinee. At the time, keep in mind, there were people, it wasn't everybody working for home or different hours. Like, if you're at the matinee during the day at Highlight, the noon matinee, you're somebody who really enjoys your gambling.
Shout out Marty Fleischman.
Loved, one of my favorite people there was Marty Fleischman, the PR director who ran our poker tournaments. Thank you to Marty Fleischman for helping us save Highlight in South Florida.
All class.
But the matinee loved his brown suits from the 1970s, made of a combination of linoleum and pleather.
It's a tricky one.
Yeah, linoleum is tough. The Highlight JLI matinee. Have any of you been there? The noon weekday matinee.
Oh, yeah, back in the
Good
day.
stuff right there.
Yeah,
absolutely.
$2 beers, $1 dogs.
Had good wings there, man.
Dude, you would inhale them. I've never seen someone eat a bone before.
Roy, I thought of you while reading. This is an odd thing to say. I thought of you while reading a way too long Jonathan Kuminga story about how it is that everything fell apart with him in Golden State. And I don't know if you guys saw some of the details, but the Warriors reprimanded him because one of the people around him was taking too much food from the family area. And so I thought of Roy and the idea that occasionally he'll leave here with, a barbecue rib in his shirt pocket. Like I thought of you, Roy, when because of how much you enjoy the food in the eating area.
It is delicious, man.
And it's the right price, right? I hear a number of people complaining about the food out there, but I'm like, it's free. I thought everybody
Mediterranean
I thought
again.
free, but yeah, but
You promise?
No, we don't have Mediterranean today.
Aw.
I've never heard people complain about free food before.
To that point, the Kuminga story and the Kuminga saga has been weird with the Warriors, right? Like, you just feel like anything like, yes, his boy's taking too many ham sandwiches.
I mean,
What?
that is an uncommon kind of petty. This story to me was way too many words for the player we're talking
Jeremy,
about.
write it?
Yeah, I'm making the decision. I'm done with Kuminga talk.
Wow.
He's got to do something now.
I just always wonder, using him as an avatar, right? I always wonder, when is a guy right? When is a guy like Jalen Brunson right if he's complaining as the second man? I should be touching the ball more. I shouldn't be behind Luka. Like I never. Now, obviously, he should be behind Steph. But once Steph is the star of your team, will you ever be like? I'm assuming that when Jordan Poole goes to Washington, he thinks, now watch what I'm gonna do. Now that I don't have to share a ball with somebody who's better than me, watch what it is that I can do. I have no idea how good Kuminga is. I do have an idea that he's a good deal better than Steve Kerr thinks he is. Like, I think that it's not about the food in the eating area. It's about Steve Kerr doesn't think Kuminga's as good as Kuminga thinks Kuminga is.
Now we're going to find out right now, right? Like, he's traded. He's got his new team. Like, he's going to be able to play the way that he wants to play. And we'll see if he's the Jalen Brunson type where we look back in a couple years and be like, damn, Kuminga was really being held back by the Warriors.
It's just a hard one to do with Steve Kerr because he rules the sport, right? Like, it's clear in that story that how personal everything had become there with him, that he was really pissed that somebody was just an anchor on his career. He's looking at the guy who's supposed to be the ally in Steve Kerr, and he's like, you are an anchor on my career. You're not making me better. You're the one holding me back. What a daily miserable experience that must be, to think you're like Mike Ryan. I'm always right, and I can't get off the bench. I'm the best who's always right here. And look at who they sub me for. Old Jack Shit is getting in the game, bored with his own voice.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings! The crown is yours.
All right, let's go. Let's get started.
The commercial I was thinking of was Lacoste, and it's wordlessly, Djokovic and Serena, they're sort of covered wordlessly in fabric, and it just says, playing with icons. That's the commercial that I was thinking of. David Samson comes on with us now, as he does every week. The name of the podcast is Nothing Personal. He covers a lot of ground, as I keep saying every time that he's on, that never mind solo, I don't hear a group of people talking about very much, and he handles it just him and Coca. Coca and Danny B around here are up for some sort of award, some sort of podcast award. What are you smirking about? Is it because of the name of the award?
And Kirsten.
That makes you smile? What are you smiling about?
No, I'm smiling, wondering whether the budget for awards approaches PTFOs, because I don't know what we spent or what the submission fees were. But let me tell you, Coca and Danny B up for the same award in the same category as the Jenga piece for their shows, meaning without Matthew Coca, Nothing Personal falls apart. Jenga. Without Danny B, the Dan Le Batard Show falls apart. And so I said to Coca on the show this morning live, you got this, man, because without you, Nothing Personal is toast. But, like, of course, no one from PTFO was nominated for a Jenga award. There's too many damn people.
What are these awards now?
The Duckies. The first. Now, I don't think you can call them the first annual. I think it's just the first. The inaugural Ducky Awards in LA. And I said, Coca, you're going there. He's on a plane to LA, leaving shortly. I said, hey, you're going to be there for All-Star Weekend with a bunch of other people Dan paid to go there. You could go out and do stuff. And he thought he wasn't cool enough to hang out with Pablo or Amin.
I want to play some sound for you here that has enraged Mike Ryan. Boomer Esiason, who looks like the future of America, okay, if some people get their way. Boomer Esiason is the avatar that will appear as one of the stars on the flag in just how people should look in the next version of homogenized America. Let's listen to Boomer Esiason getting mad that the Olympics would have a few Americans saying, yeah, I've got some bittersweet sort of feelings about representing my country.
But I mean, like I was sitting there watching, the freestyle skating by, our ice skating team, figure skating team that won the gold medal.
Are they happy to represent America?
Yeah, they seem to be happy to represent America. Not everybody is, but, everybody should just pipe down and just do their sport and play for our country and respect the flag and respect everything that's going on.
Shut up and ski.
That's it.
Pipe down is such a great old person phrase. Can someone find me the origins of pipe down? Why are pipes coming down? What's happening when pipes are coming down? It's another way to say shut up. It's another way to say bleep you on mainstream television.
Then say that. Say that. Say what you mean. Say it with your chest, you chicken. Because your MAGA-coded bull that's been going on for 10 years. The guy is in office for a second time because his whole platform is how much this country stinks. Yet you sit on the sidelines when Nick Bosa wears a MAGA hat on the postgame. Where's the same energy? I'm a sports fan. My soccer team won the Club World Cup. He was on the friggin' stage. I had to eat it. I'm a NASCAR fan. Riley Gaines is giving incantations. The president is literally taking laps at the Daytona International Motor Speedway. It took me 45 minutes to get into the national championship game because the Secret Service is there checking everybody because he so effectively uses sports to sports wash his image. And yet I've had to eat it. You got your way. They're not kneeling during the anthem. They're doing everything they can so you can live in your little bubble and not be threatened by the reality of your decisions, the cost of what you actually voted for. The liberals, the left, they all had to eat it because you guys were so loud and so soft and so triggered. But you can't tune in to the Winter Olympics, a sport that you probably only worry about every 4 years. And you don't want to be faced with the reality that maybe some people, and according to polling, a hell of a lot of people, aren't exactly thrilled with how things are going in this country. And they are using their one moment, in most cases, to highlight that because that is universally American. And you want them to shut up? Quit being a Boomer Esiason. Put your name to it. Say what you mean.
He did.
No, he didn't. He just said shut up. He just said shut up.
Pipe down.
He said pipe down. I am so sick of these snowflakes that were telling me I was soft for 10 years. And I had to swallow it. I had to swallow it. You use your platform however you want. But if you're going to actually attack other people for sharing your feelings, then maybe don't just code your language. Actually say it because they're actually being brave.
I don't know how you decide, Mike, when you have to eat it or when you have to swallow it, but I think that you're angry with Boomer when you're just angry with so many other things. You're taking it out on him.
No. I think it is so soft to not want to actually sit down and face the consequences of your decision. You don't want to even be triggered to have someone say to your face, things aren't going great. You'd rather ignore that. Yet in every other walk of life, all you want to do is complain about how bad things are, so much so that we've totally burned up the Constitution and we're in this goddamn mess. I hate when people do that. I have more respect for the people that take to their platform and actually say what they mean with their chest than this.
Pipe down, is that an older phrase than shut your trap? Pick one. I'm going to put a handful of them in front of you, David, and you pick one. Older phrase, pipe down or shut your trap?
Shut your trap.
Pipe down or kick rocks?
Kick rocks.
Pipe down or put a sock in it?
Put a sock in it.
Just going to keep choosing the new one.
Pipe down, he's playing the game incorrectly. Pipe down or shut your pie hole?
Pipe down is old or shut your pie hole is new. No one knew what that was.
Pipe down or zip it?
Tied.
Pipe down or cool it, pal?
Pipe down.
What about simmer down?
Ooh, simmer down. Simmer down. And find for me why it is pipes are coming down, please. I don't understand why pipes need to be put down.
Yeah, I have the origin here. So the boat swain is where this comes from. So original sailing ships, they were given to the crew by sounding the boat swain's pipe. So what you were doing was piping down the hammocks, which was a signal to go below deck. And when an officer wanted a sailor to be dismissed below, he would have him piped down.
I'm sorry, I missed most of what you said just because of how Tony was laughing off mic at the way that sailing ships just came out sounding like.
I think of him doing that stuff during the Heat broadcast, and it makes me laugh.
Yeah, I told you, I'm now in my head about the way that I speak when I've never been before. I've won 3 Emmys. You guys know that, right?
Yes.
Really? Cool.
Not a ducky, though.
Not a Jenga piece
you
award.
You won a ducky. You may have won 3 Emmys, but talk to me when you've won a ducky.
I mean, when you're a Jenga piece.
David, I have been, I'm going to say, just a little bit surprised by the idea that in Adam Silver's spectrum as leader, I've seen him go from a really strong figure viewed as the most progressive and strongest commissioner in sport to a precipitous descent since that makes it clear to me that he works for the owners the same way Goodell does, although less polished than Goodell does it, because I believe he's gone from very strong to very weak. Where are you with Silver having lost control of his league?
I think that when you had him as, I think it goes back to the bubble, it goes back to his view on all of the social injustices during that time when the NBA players walked out of the bubble. And it was almost like our belief in New York that Rudy Giuliani was this amazing guy during 9/11. It is staggering what can happen during crisis when some people step up and then all of a sudden you expect that to be their default position through every situation that follows. And generally, crisis brings out something in someone. What we're seeing with Adam Silver is that his baseline is that he is in job protection mode the way every commissioner is, as they should be. They work for the owners. The owners are on the comp committee that sets their comp. They're trying to get their teams to be worth more because that's how they're judged. And they don't want to get too close to the fire. Adam Silver had the support to get as close as he got, but now that has gone away. And so you're seeing Adam Silver become a normal commissioner now. And for me, that's good enough. It's not a negative. It's not a positive. It's just a fact of life.
Well, it becomes an accountant, though, to me. He's just somebody there who's there to make money. He's not actually in control of the owners, unlike his predecessor. His predecessor was in control of the owners. Like, David Stern didn't seem like he was working for those guys. Those guys kind of feared David Stern. It's a pretty abrupt shift. I don't blame the billionaires for not wanting to be run by somebody, but it's a big shift.
Let me remind you that the David Stern era, if David Stern were commissioner today with this group of owners, he would not be the David Stern of yesteryear. It was a totally different time that called for a different skill set. David Stern was a bull in a china shop where there were a bunch of porcelain pieces allowing him to act that way. Adam Silver recognizes he can't be that way because he is surrounded by power in a way that David Stern never was.
I wanted to ask you here about Pablo's story. It's now 8 installments, and you and Amin have been great in providing a really strong executive, lawyerly strength and wisdom and nuance to everything that's happening around a complicated story here. The latest installment, the reason that it was shocking to me is I did not see a way, David, under any circumstance that the aspiration story would be the tip of the iceberg. I thought it had to be the entire iceberg, and anything else that he got after that would be just something that was also a tip, but that aspiration was the iceberg. I'm beginning to think that Pablo's going to keep doing this and keep finding stuff, and that the $48 million of no-show job alleged money is not going to be the end of it. It's just the start of it.
Well, you know Pablo like I know Pablo, and he is like a dog with a bone. And the benefit of having an episode 1 the way we had it on September 3rd, where this aspiration story was broken by Pablo, he had done reporting on it for months, but it hadn't seen the light of day. Once it sees the light of day, you end up getting more incoming calls than before the story is released when it's all outgoing calls. Because once something comes out, then all of a sudden people are like, oh, wait a minute, I know something about this. Let me get in touch with the person who's doing the story. So it's pretty common that there'd be more there. When Pablo started with us on September 3rd, he did not know where there was. And that's the beautiful thing about investigative journalism is you do your work that can stand on its own, but you have to be, I guess, flexible enough to have more episodes, not just because people are watching and interested and the NBA trembles every time Pablo releases a show. Can you imagine if he ever did one live? You do live, then it's absolute insanity. But he has discovered so many more things, and he's not stopping, Dan. You've given him this money, you've given him this power, and he's using it to not just purposely take down institutions. He's doing it to expose what is actually happening within these institutions, and the audience loves it.
I need to correct you and Pablo. We, Meadowlark Media, all the full-time people here own a percentage of the company. We have invested in the journalism of what it is that Pablo is doing, not me. And when you say that this last episode that you did was interesting to you, I'll ask you the same question that I asked Pablo yesterday. If you chose one thing from the last episode that stayed with you, for me, it was that this pursuit of Ballmer and this obsession of Ballmer can be linked through Kawhi's trainer and a lawsuit back to 2017 when he wasn't even with the Clippers. Like that to me was more interesting than all other things. But what was it to you, having gone through all of the paperwork?
Yeah, to me, it was the end. The end of the episode just was gobsmacking to me because what Pablo presented was the possibility of a document existing. And a document is what Adam Silver and Wachtell Lipton have been looking for, a smoking gun, they call it, which is obviously a totally incorrect way of describing evidence in the investigation that is happening against Steve Ballmer and the Clippers. But a document that Pablo is wondering whether it exists, talking about salary cap circumvention. Tampering is what you're referring to. That wasn't interesting to me because everyone tampers with our guys and we tamper with everyone else's guys, and we're planning years ahead with our tampering always. So that was standard. But a document where there is absolute salary cap circumvention for a second time, this major, that requires punishment of Steve Ballmer, and that's something that Adam Silver, in my opinion, has been trying to avoid. And if that document exists, and we don't know whether it does, but incoming calls will be helpful here, if it does exist, that would be the end of Adam Silver trying to avoid punishment.
Dave, longtime NBA insider Mark Stein reports that an unidentified group has reportedly expressed interest in having Mark Cuban buy back the Mavericks. And obviously, he sold his majority stake in 23 for $3.5 billion and retains a 27% share. Is this a situation that you've seen where an owner sells a piece to then buy it back a couple years later? And what if the Adelson Dumont family does not want to sell it back to them, which they don't? How does that work?
Well, once you own something, you never have to sell it back. You can keep it until you're forced to sell by your partners, Donald Sterling style. And Mark Cuban wanting to get back in the game is funny because he views the NBA as the only outlet where he can get the votes to become an owner. But frankly, now that he's gone, I think he stays gone. And the reasons he sold, for whatever the reasons are, he will not be able to buy it back at the same price. Whereas, let's say Jeffrey Lurie could have bought back the Marlins at the same price for a number of years, just didn't want to. With the Mavericks situation, the price has changed. It has grown. Adam Silver's done his job. So I think the reason Mark Cuban sold, those reasons stay. Does he want to maintain relevancy? That's the hardest thing about selling a team if you're an owner, that all of a sudden you don't feel like that you are important. Your ego is not being massaged. You try to put yourself into positions of relevancy where it may not work as well. So I do know of owners who want to get back, but they don't because the financial reasons they sold still exist.
Which is the worst of the mistakes here? I'm going to play for you. Coca here on Nothing Personal, struggling with a word, and you tried to help him. Let's play that sound.
Twitter and Instagram and TikTok.
You got this.
Is that worse or is this worse? Matriculate the ball down the field. The juju, whoa! The juju leaving the premises as if a mushroom cloud has exploded. Matriculate the ball down the field.
It sounds like you were a skipping record there.
Yeah.
And so I worry, like I wanted you to do the stroke test after that. With Coca, I just knew that it was a tongue twister because he had said incentivize 3 seconds before the clip you just played. So I knew that he had it with him at some point. I was concerned that you were in a position where you needed someone to hit you in the back. So I'm going to say that's worse.
Yeah, I mean, I have been short-circuiting lately sometimes in ways that frighten me and are sort of stroke adjacent here. But you said something here earlier. You said crisis brings out something in people, and you left it open-ended. Like I guess plenty of people fold in the face of crisis. What has crisis brought out in you that you've been surprised that you weren't sure existed in you, where you're in the middle of crisis and then all of a sudden you're learning something about yourself?
Well, it certainly brought out far more emotion than I've ever had. It de-wired me a lot, what's happening with me, and it's changed me in a way that I didn't want to change. And now that I'm changed, I'm not the guy who's going to say, oh my God, I'm so happy I changed. I like the old me way better than the new me. I don't like the fact that I just can walk around and all of a sudden start crying, or that I am in the middle of trying to fight a fight that can't be won. Who wants to do that? So I like when people say, oh, I've changed, I've seen the light, I've found God, or whatever it is they say. I'm a better person now. I'm better in a lot of ways since I left baseball, but I didn't need a crisis in order to do it. It was just the evolution of me. So I'm the one who would tell you that certain crises are not, the juice is not worth the squeeze, as I like to say. And any improvements that may be in my emotionality, I would give up. I'd give up 1,000-fold if I could.
David, James Vanderbeek battled with sickness for a while, passed away yesterday. Most known for being Dawson from Dawson's Creek. It was a pop culture icon at the time. Film wasn't this a huge film star, but Varsity Blues is a cult classic. I'm wondering if you have any thoughts on the passing of James Vanderbeek.
I do, Mike. It's horrible. And what's surprising to me, his GoFundMe page that his family has, he has 6 children and left a wife, young children, and young people are just getting cancer way more. And that's actual evidence. That's not just in my head. And the problem is that everyone thinks that everyone else is rich, and it's just not the case. People would assume, oh, you're a movie star, you must be rich. It's like assuming people in music or people on TV who do podcasts, like it's assuming that they're rich, and that's not the reality. And Vanderbeek, they just ran out of money because of how expensive it is to treat cancer. And he had a colorectal cancer where it's not going to work. But how do you not try when you have 6 kids or when you're 48 years old? You have to try. And now the family is left cleaning up financial ruin and dealing with the loss of a husband and a father. There's nothing positive about when young people get cancer. There's nothing to learn from it. It's not, there's not one thing. Oh, it's great for research. We can study the tumor and figure out. No, that's not right. And it opens people's eyes to getting, prostate tests when they're 40 or getting mammograms when they're 30 or getting whatever. No, I don't need someone to die to have that lesson. So I was not a Dawson's Creek person, Mike, but I'm finding myself obviously way more impacted by young people and their plight and their disease, and I can't stand it, actually.
You said you don't need someone to die to learn that lesson, but being around any of that stuff has opened up a portal to emotion for you. Like you're saying that you were locked up, repressed in the previous incarnation, right? That it's not that you weren't feeling pain, although perhaps the pain wasn't like this, is that the pain didn't unlock you being able to express it, right?
But I don't want to be unlocked. It's not, I don't even understand your question. I would trade my daughter being sick because I get to be unlocked? Like all of a sudden this is a net positive because of some emotional growth I'm having?
No, you're the one.
It.
No, you're the one who presented the idea of crisis bringing out. We love to say that one, David. We love to say that adversity brings out the character in people. We love to say that that crisis very often, when you get 2 or 3 or 4 years away from it, people don't have regret about the crisis. Not in this case, obviously. I wouldn't use that as the example, but are grateful for the crisis because it changed them into somebody who had a different life perspective.
Yeah, so I find that those crises tend to be when you lose a limb or when you have an accident that you recover from. I have not yet met, and I spend a lot of my day when I'm not speaking to Mike Ryan off the air, I spend a lot of my time trying to meet people to figure out if it's possible to grow or recover or just function on a daily basis. And I'm getting very mixed results, I must say. And I have no idea what my world will look like in 6 months and tomorrow or a year or 10 years. But I just, it's not a journey that I'm interested in. I don't want to see what life is going to be like in certain instances. But again, when you have no choice, you have no choice. So you do what's instinctual, but then you spend your entire life wondering, are you doing it right? Or what regrets you will have. I never used to live that way. I was much happier when I had not one regret, never thought of having a regret. I just pushed forward like a bull in a china shop. And now I'm questioning every time I decide to go for a run.
I'm the distinction that I guess I'm making somewhere inside of the worst loss I've felt, the death of my brother. I wouldn't, I'd trade anything to have him back, but it doesn't mean that I don't have an altered life perspective that I could not have had if he had not died. I would have never had.
But you don't want that.
I would have never. No, but in ways that are also positive, though. It's not just suffering and pain. It is also suffering and pain. But on the other side of suffering, not for you in the instance that you're presently in, and not for me if you had asked me 2 years ago or 2.5 years ago. But I am altered by what happened there in a way that's forever changed. And while the pain is still inside me, so too is the love that is still alive because that pain is there to remind me. And I have more appreciation for life than I did before. I have more appreciation for the people I love than I did before.
Yeah, I don't want to be where you are. I'm not interested, actually, in that sort of epiphany that you've had, the emotional epiphany and growth that comes along with that level of pain. It actually doesn't interest me.
There are very few places, I would say, that growth usually happens for people that doesn't have great pain involved. And I'm not trying to argue a different perspective for you. I'm just saying that if you had asked me this 2.5 years ago, I would have spoken exactly the way that you're speaking now without being able to see anything off in the distance that looked like anything that resembled hope or anything better.
We are one renewal away from asking me whatever question you want.
Off to softer things here and the silliness of sports, because baseball is reporting and you've got Boris hovering around the owners and there's always business around the owners and there's so many problems with the media deals and everything else. Which sport do you believe is most likely to lock out soonest because of its ailments around it? Is it the WNBA or is it something else?
Well, are you willing to say that a lockout and a strike are equivalent?
Just work stoppage of whatever kind, where we lose the games.
WNBA will have a work stoppage before Major League Baseball. WNBA does not have a collective bargaining agreement. We could talk for the entire rest of the show about what's going on with the WNBA and the absolute mistake that the Players Union, the Women's Players Association, has made in this negotiation. They are calling the wrong bluffs. They are not at the right time in the life of their union or of their league to take the positions they're taking. And I can get criticized all day long, by women in sports and in media, and this is not about men or women. I would say that about any immature union, and I don't mean like a 3-year-old. I'm talking about young. The WNBA is a young league, and what they are asking for is to be treated as though they are a mature league, and they're just not that. They're going for too much too soon. There's going to be a work stoppage, and they're saying they'll strike because they've given permission to they voted that it's okay to strike. But the WNBA the owners may instead lock out. We'll wait to see. Baseball is going to have a lockout in December after this coming season. So I'd like to ask the follow-up question, which do I think will last longer? MLB's work stoppage or the WNBA's work stoppage? And that is an interesting question because the WNBA, if a season were missed, like a full season that's supposed to start here in a couple months, what would happen? You'd have players maybe more unrivaled, more Project B, more going overseas, and they would make more money. They would live their lives. In baseball, when there's a work stoppage, there's not enough leagues around the world for these players to play and make anything close to what they would make in baseball, which is why we always felt we could break the union. And it's why we've won every negotiation in our mind, is because we knew that they're getting older each year with no alternative, the players, and owners are going to be there long after. That's the true power dynamic. That's why I think MLB's work stoppage will not be as significant as what the WNBA's could be.
I have told David and others that if you live your life as long as Colin Cowherd and Jim Rome have lived their life talking to themselves for several hours a day, you become a specific kind of crazy that you guys just saw a glimpse of, where David Samson asked a question and then said to himself, that's an interesting question.
Sorry.
David, no.
No, we all got a chuckle.
No, we understand how it is that happens. Is because you're talking to yourself. Your producer can't say incentivize.
It's up for a ducky.
Even though he's up for a ducky, yeah. And so you just stimulated yourself by asking a question and said to yourself, now that's an interesting question, David.
I really try to avoid that because this is the hour of the week that I love, when I can interact with so many of you. And you just got me going on a topic that is an interesting topic to me.
It's vocal masturbation.
It is. He is normally in solitary confinement for 23 hours, and then he gets to play in the yard for a little bit, and he's like, that's an interesting question, David. I'm glad we get to spend this time together. What are you reviewing for us this week?
Can we talk about love quickly?
We will tomorrow with Greg Cody.
Oh, so are you going to review the movie Eternity with Greg?
No.
305-486-GOTS if you have any love questions for Greg Cody. He's going to join us from a memory loss unit for alcohol-impaired dementia. 305-486-4689.
By the way,
the number.
By the way, he hates that idea.
Yeah, that's fine. 305-486-4689. He will join us from a memory loss unit for alcohol-related dementia and give you love advice if you have any love questions. Let's talk about love.
Will drinks be served?
He'll love that idea.
He's going to have Miller Lite like a scotch.
Yeah.
They won't remember. There's a movie called Eternity. It stars Miles Teller and Elizabeth Olsen. It's not up for any Academy Awards, and people are mistakenly saying it's like Defending Your Life, the movie with Albert Brooks and Meryl Streep, but it's not like that at all. It's about what happens when you have a love of your life when you're young, and something breaks that love up. It could be death, it could be war, it could be just life happening. And then you marry someone else, your second love, and you're with them for 40 years. And now you go to the afterlife. Who do you want to be with? Your first love where it was magic. We're talking countertops and everything. Or do you want to go with stable love where you built a family and you watched TV from two different chairs with trays of TV dinners? Who do you choose to live your eternity with? And I was fascinated with the question. And Miles Teller and Elizabeth Olsen are the longtime loves. Callum Teller is the first love of Elizabeth Olsen, the major love who then went to war and died. and they all meet up again in the afterlife, and choices have to be made. And it got me thinking, what would I choose? And so I'm not going to ask myself a question.
What an interesting question, David. Put it
Let's
on the
watch
poll.
you vocally masturbate.
Let's put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Better love, first love or last love? I assume that people love the butterflies of first love, but last love, you've learned all the things you have to learn about what you want for yourself in life, right?
That's the movie. That's why, I don't know, Dan, you sound like you have not seen it, but it'd be interesting for someone like you, because you would always say last love because of the current love you're in, expecting that to be your last love. But you have to not give short shrift to first love and what that felt like.
Dan, which love are you picking? Your current love or a previous one?
I don't like the way that was phrased.
I would always assume that most people will choose their last love, but I might have that wrong, because if someone dies, if you're widowed, if there's somebody that you felt like you're going to miss forever, but I choose what I've learned since then.
Man, Mike really lobbed it up for us. I feel like we're going to be hearing about this one.
It's not helpful producing. It's not what the job is.
It's Valentine's weekend. He tried to give you an easy dub. We decided, for whatever reason, to bypass it. We are probably stepping in it right now.
Again, though, I want the inner monologue to be my voice talking to me, not you secretly talking to me.
It was Val.
As
you.
You.
Just say Val and move on.
It's obviously Val, but my life experience doesn't have that kind of loss that
Well,
he's
it
talking
was
about.
obvious until you ignored the question.
You're always trying to learn.
I assume that many people that I'm actually interested in how people vote on this poll, because I do think that a whole lot of people romanticize first love because they're now in a love that's less happy. Like that very often they lost that love because they were rejected by somebody they didn't want to be rejected by. They lost somebody to death. And so I do believe that there are many people out there who have a great deal of longing for a lost love and are in a relationship that now pales by comparison.
Ooh, say that we didn't know love until we found our current love.
That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. Inner monologue, man.
Hey, it was an alley-oop and we shot all over the backboard.
The problem with first love that's cut short is if you have to do eternity, I would argue that I can't do eternity with any love. And so choosing a first love or last love, if you have to do it forever, I assume even first love then becomes forever boring last love. So I think it's sort of a Sophie's choice of love. They didn't cover that in the movie, though.
Man, I thought our answer was bad.
Juju, put it on the poll, please. When you get to eternity, do you just want to be left alone?
He literally picked himself. We're not just vocally masturbating anymore.
David wants to get to eternity and be like, well, that's an interesting question, David. I'm glad you asked me.
I'll pick a 3 a.m. movie by myself in the dark on my couch. Thank you.
I've got some interesting thoughts on that. You're such great
I'm
company,
down with it.
David.
I like the honesty.
I love that you know me.
Nothing Personal is the name of the podcast. Thank you, David. We appreciate the time.
Thank you.
I was sad. I was surprised by what it is that saddened me the other day when I saw it happen because, and I've been having this argument with Wilbon since I met him, okay? I cannot tell you any words that I have said to Wilbon in my life more than these words. What's your problem with mascots? Like, I thought everybody loved mascots, and now they canceled that rooster race that was, I'm going to say, uniquely Miami, because I don't think anybody else was doing rooster races at the ballpark. And the rooster, you saw it 2 or 3 times ago, Tony went out to a local bar here near Calle Ocho in the middle of the day, and poor Rose was chasing around roosters who have been feeding desayuno there and been having bread con mantequilla outside.
There was like 20 of them.
Yeah, it was a whole family
Not
of roosters.
poor Rose. She was
there.
the aggressor.
She was the aggressor, but she was just trying to get them away from her. And they're like, no, this is our home. We're not going to leave here. Why did they cancel the rooster race? What happened?
It was bad.
Yeah, but I like that about it.
It was pretty corny.
Wasn't that an upgrade over the sea creatures?
Well, yeah, but they had gotten rid of that for a while, and then now they're getting rid of the rooster race, and they're really trying to feature Billy the Marlin more. Like in the same way that they're going back to the teal for the throwbacks, they're featuring Billy the Marlin. Now,
you've lost weight, huh?
Yep. Feels good.
Cock of the walk, baby.
If you're not aware of where Mike's irrationally hostile and rabid fury about the Heat comes from, it's not merely what's happening with the Heat. It's also that the Celtics and Knicks are good. And when the Knicks are good, it makes for loud Latin people. And while I usually like loud Latin people, loud Latin Knicks fans make it hard.
How do we have so many of these guys?
Yeah, they're Ian Lara is a comedian here. You can catch his hour special, the new one, Material Boy, on YouTube, and you can get tickets and available dates at ianlaralive.com. Look at him smirking and smiling.
Is this an underrepresented base that you're going for?
The Knicks fan base, just because we got him and Sam
Dominican Knicks guys.
Well,
you got Mero, you got this guy. What's going on here?
Yeah, well, I like funny people and energetic people, and I like people who are excited about their sports teams. When is the last time, Ian, and thank you for joining us, that you loved the Knicks team this way?
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. And honestly, the last few years have been good. I feel like we've advanced a little bit further every year. So I'm thinking this is the year. And we just added Alvarado, and I don't know if you saw the game he had yesterday, but the Latin loud fans are just going to multiply.
Yeah, 26 points he had. And you feel how about Karl Anthony Towns? What's your relationship with him? Because he's going to get some grande por gusto if he disappears in the playoffs.
I like Karl Anthony Towns is half Dominican, as am I. So legally, I'm not allowed to say anything negative about him. He played for a Dominican team. I also am a fan, aside from both having the same parents, but parents coming from the same country. But I do like his game. I don't like it sometimes. I feel like when he doesn't get the ball, he tends to get a little bit. But I like his game, and I think last year in the playoff he carried us a lot when Brunson was down.
What else do you put next to your irrational Knicks love in terms of passion? What else in your life sort of lines up the way that does?
The Mets.
Yeah. So you've been suffering, right? You've been hurting. You've been hurting for a while. Your most joyous, because you're still a young man, your most joyous experiences in sports are what?
Well, I'm a Giants fan also. I saw them win 2 Super Bowls versus New England. That I'll never forget that. One of them being the undefeated season that New England had. So that'll hold you over for a while. That'll hold you over for 20, 30 years.
It might, but I feel like you like basketball and baseball more, so you're choosing the Giants just because it feels good, where it is you've had your sufferings over here for a while. Like you've almost for as long as you've been alive, you've had some Mets and Knicks disappointments.
I mean, when you say it like that, it sounds bad when you point out that my entire life has been a disappointment. But if you look at it more positively, I have seen the Mets in the World Series twice. That's something. I saw the Knicks in the finals when I was 10. That's something.
It is something. That's not up for dispute. It is something. You're denying that it's long-suffering fanhood. You're sitting here. You're saying, no, sports are fun, and I'm going to enjoy my teams. I'm not going to come out here and whimper about my teams being bad. They give me hope. They give me something to be excited about. How did you feel about the halftime show? Surely you have opinions there. The reaction, I don't know why I was surprised by this. I really don't. It feels naive. It borderline feels stupid in the America I live in to be surprised that people would react to Spanish that way, but I've just been around Spanish so long in Miami that I feel like I'm numb to the idea that Spanish would be weird to people, that singing in Spanish on a halftime show would be unacceptable to people.
I mean, I thought it was great. I saw Bad Bunny. I went to his concert in Puerto Rico. It was amazing. I think he's a great artist. It's funny that it's controversial when the Super Bowl picks the biggest artist on the planet to perform at the halftime show. And that's like considered a controversy. I think that's pretty silly, but I thought it's the halftime. I did not know that the halftime show at the Super Bowl was so like such a a groundbreaking political event that we had to get. I just thought it was good music. I had friends who are also Latino who saw it. I had friends who were like crying because of the representation and how cool it meant to see their flag being represented in that way. So I thought it was great.
Ian?
Am I canceled?
People had to endure the rap last year they didn't understand. Now you're going to make the rap a different language entirely? Like it's too much. It's too much.
It's fine. We'll get Coldplay next year. Everyone will forget about it.
Do Maroon 5 again?
Yeah, everyone will forget about it.
Ooh.
Your first special was called Romantic Comedy. How do you do Valentine's Day?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a comic, so it's tough because I work on all the holidays. Like I work. I know I saw a meme yesterday about like some guys are like, babe, I got to work at night on Valentine's Day to get out of it. But I literally, and it's Saturday night. Like I have 6 shows on Saturday night. So I kind of got to get like a redo date on the Valentine's Day.
6 shows? You have
That's too many shows.
What you mean 6 shows?
Too many shows.
Are you insinuating that I overbooked myself?
Are you
too many shows?
Are you doing a matinee? What are you doing? A breakfast show? Like what? How are you doing 6 shows?
What's up, Denny's?
No, because I'm here in New York, so it's not our headlining shows. It's more showcase. So it's just 6 20-minute spots. It's not like I'm doing 6 hours.
Oh, like rounds.
So you stink at Valentine's Day.
No, I'm just if the 14 falls on like a Tuesday, I'll kill it.
Okay, but it doesn't. So you're just working on Valentine's Day. Do you have any advice for broke people on Valentine's Day? Do you have different advice? Well, you must have different advice for rich people on Valentine's Day.
My advice is the same across all pay grades. If you have the opportunity to work at night, take it. I mean, they're looking for shifts and you can get it. And normally your partner would understand if you get them a nice gift after.
You guys should know back there that Ian made an observation that a whole lot of people make when they land in Miami and just end up at the local Whole Foods where it's like, holy, I've never seen this many beautiful people in one place in my life, which seems odd. He made this observation on Adulthood, his podcast, but you're from New York. Like,
yeah.
So what is happening there? I understand that happening, and I agree with you. I understand why and how it happens, but I'm more used to it happening for people from Idaho than from New York.
I feel like New York is a lot more gritty. I remember the last time I played Miami, I was at the Miami Improv and we were sitting in the green room just watching like the couples, like we were watching the people walk in and it was couples. It was men and women together. And it was like, it looked like just supermodels, like just coming into my show. That's not exactly the demographic that I bring out when I'm in Idaho.
Just say we got that over here, Ian. That's what we do over here.
You for sure do. You for sure. It's almost unrealistic.
Per square foot, it is.
And you said the spot, Dan, Whole Foods. You know what you're doing over there. You know what you're doing.
Even Trader Joe's.
You see it as soon as you get out. As soon as you walk out the gate at the airport, you're like, this seems. It's like Instagram. It's like you're in the live version of Instagram. Everybody looks like they're wearing a filter.
We said too much.
Refran del Dia is, Valor's wondering why I like going to Whole Foods so much. Refran del Dia.
This is where shopping is a pleasure.
Refran del Dia is something that we
Say
do.
you love Val, just covering our tracks.
It goes without saying that I love my wife. I'm happier than I've ever been.
It definitely doesn't go without saying. Just say it. Only you can hear me. Okay?
We're gonna play Refran del Dia with Ian, who has to be confused. That's my inner monologue, Ian. Just ignore my inner monologue as I've learned to do recently. Let's do Refran del Dia with Ian, please.
¡Dímelo, mi gente! ¿Qué lo mío? Dímelo.
Tranquilo.
Aquí, tropical, mira. We do a thing called Refran del Dia, which I give a Hispanic or usually Cuban dicho, and then I get the translation of it literally, and then we kind of talk back and forth. But what I wanted to do is a little bit of a remix to that, okay? So what I want to do is, you're probably Dominican. I want to bring you something that is Dominican, but also something else, and I want you to choose between the two. You ready? I'm going to give you an example. All right. Rum. Dominican rum or Puerto Rican rum?
Dominican rum.
What's your favorite?
Brugal.
Come on, talk to me. Okay.
That's a national rum. Come on, I gotta.
Come on. Okay. Who does salami belong to? Dominicans or Italians?
Ooh. I think
work
it
it
belongs,
out with me.
All right,
Work it out with me.
It belongs to Italians. I'm trying to be fair. I think it belongs to Italians.
But
I think Dominican has perfected it.
And why is that?
I don't know. When you go, I am notoriously known. I've smuggled in salamis in my luggage when I fly to the Dominican Republic.
Hey, yo.
And you're not allowed to. And I remember walking into customs like, I hope they don't go, because this is gonna look weird. Why I have 3 different salamis in my
Especially
luggage.
the X-ray when they see the shape and the size of the salami, you're like, yo.
Put it on the pole.
Right. One time I thought I was getting stopped, but the dude just knew my comedy. I was like, ooh, dodged that one.
Okay, so you were almost wandering around an imprisoned area, somebody asking you, what are you in for? I smuggled salami.
That's right.
Okay.
I just got back from DR like 2 days ago.
All right, put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Have you ever smuggled salami? And also, did Italians perhaps start salami, but then Dominicans perfected it?
It's
yes
the fried
or no?
salami, Dan. That's why.
Yeah, that's
Fried
right.
salami, fried
It's a
salami.
breakfast meat. They perfected it.
Yes.
I know this.
Yes.
My grandfather married a Dominican, so I had the best of both worlds. It was made for breakfast.
All right.
There you go.
Dembow or reggaeton?
I'm gonna go. All right, I'm gonna go. I gotta go Dembo. If not, I'm gonna hear it. But I love both of them. I love reggaeton also.
Where are you going to hear it? What's going to happen?
Oh, the Dominicans, when they see this, they're gonna come at me.
Dembow's not basically the national music of
Yeah.
the DR. Come on.
Yeah.
Dan.
Yeah.
You gotta
yeah.
take Dan down to
Even
down to
I know
DR.
that.
I'm just saying I mean, you
Been at
can't
Whole
argue-
Foods too
how
long. We
can
gotta take you down to
argue
DR.
against reggaeton? Like what he's doing there is, I believe that he's telling a lie on behalf of his people when he believes something different. Like,
And that's okay, Dan. That's okay. You can do that.
We can take Val to Casa de Campo.
Last one, and this is probably the biggest one,
Oh my God.
the most important one. Who does hookah belong to? Dominicans or Arabs?
No, Arabs. That's not even hard.
What?
It belongs to Arabs.
What?
It does. It belongs to them.
You can't go to Dykeman. You can't go to Dykeman. You don't show
No
your
one
face in
will argue
Dykeman.
that. You want to hear something funny? I just got back from the Dominican Republic, and they actually have opened up a bunch of Arab hookah bars in the Dominican Republic.
I'm going to suck the fun out of this, the music,
Like a hookah,
and
of course.
yes, and all the joy that we're getting out of this by just playing for Ian, since he's from New York, some sound from Boomer Esiason talking about the Winter Olympics.
I tried.
I just want to get Ian's thoughts on this Boomer Esiason
You sure about
sound.
this?
But I mean, like I was sitting there watching, the freestyle skating by, our ice skating team, figure skating team that won the gold medal.
Are they happy to represent America?
Yeah, they seem to be
Okay.
happy to represent
All right.
America. Not everybody is, but everybody should just pipe down and just do their sport and play for our country and respect the flag and respect everything that's going on.
Ian, your thoughts?
I was watching some of that. I was watching a lot of the Olympians who, I haven't seen anyone say anything that's been super offensive, but I thought you were allowed. I thought the most American thing was that you were allowed to disagree with the country and the government, and that was okay. I thought that was the most American thing. So I don't know. I think it's weird that now we have to just accept and agree with everyone. If you disagree, I think you're allowed to be like, hey, I don't agree with this part.
You happy?
IanLauraLive.com is where you
happy
go
now?
if you
We were
want
having
his
fun. We
show
were
and
dancing.
tickets. People were dancing. It's as if I came on to Bad Bunny's halftime show in the middle of it while Lady Gaga was dancing and just held up a
Doggy
fist
paddling.
of Hispanic.
She was not
Pipe
dancing,
down.
let's be honest. That was no bachata, there was no
That
merengue,
not
there was no
dancing.
nothing. That was
What
stiff
do-
hips.
All right. Did you have any critique?
Pipe down.
Why was Lady Gaga there? Did you have any theories on why Lady Gaga was in the middle of that?
Not 100% sure. Also, because she was singing Bruno Mars' song, who is, I think, Puerto Rican. So
I mean, he certainly can pass.
that was just strange. I guess he might have been busy, but I loved Lady Gaga. I love that he gave him like 2 minutes of like English.
He did. He gave Ricky Martin 15 seconds, though. Ricky Martin should want a little more time than 15 seconds, I feel like. No, he's not bigger than that.
I thought it was cool, and I love the song that he sang. That's one of Bad Bunny's song off the last album. I thought it was cool to have Ricky Martin. I thought it was a cool show. I don't know, like anyone who watched it, even if you didn't understand, some of my friends who don't understand Spanish, they was like, it looked fun, which is a very Latino thing.
I'm surprised he played Hawaii because that's not usually one of the bangers on the album. That's like very deep track.
I know it's not, but I think it's one of the deepest songs on the album
for sure. That or Turita.
Yeah.
IanLaraLive.com. Thank you, Ian. Appreciate your maiden voyage with the show. Thank you, sir.
Dan, I appreciate you having me. Been a fan for a long time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I wanted to give you guys here some sound and some video on something that is bringing streaking into the modern age. During the Super Bowl telecast, you guys saw or may have seen that Mike Tirico and Chris Collinsworth, because we've gotten very good at not giving the streakers the attention they want on the national broadcast, where they have rules against televising the streaker and therefore rewarding the behavior. But the problem is with social media these days, you don't actually need the platform of the 100 million people to be watching you because there are so many other cameras. Now, I've often said in talking about all of this that the streaker idea might seem like a good idea to somebody who just craves attention that way. And it ceases to become a good idea once the lawyer fees and the prison stuff starts happening and you're spending substantive time in jail and you're a security risk at this kind of event. It doesn't end up being worth it unless you've got some of those meta glasses on and now you can televise your own experience. And I haven't seen this before, where we get the vantage point and the sound and the audio of what it is to be a streaker during the Super Bowl when you're navigating traffic. Let's see that video, please.
I got this. I got this. Let's go. Come on. Come on. You guys got me. You guys got me. You guys got me. You guys got me. I'm right here. You guys got me. Yeah, you guys got me. All right. How am I going to get up? Get him up. Get him up. Hurry up. Hurry up. Get him up.
The thing that I want to do when we replay this, first of all, they did a good job of throwing a decoy out there. There was some chum thrown in the water, a fake streaker. That guy doesn't get any of the glory, doesn't get any of the attention or the giggling joy that this guy gets. But the freeze frame for the audio audience where you hear something that sounds like distorted fear, that's when a uniformed Patriots player is now in the picture and part of the chase.
Kyle Williams, who, by the way, runs like a 4.2.
Yeah, no, but it's so good. The recognition in his voice and the fear in his heart that you hear come into his throat when his camera on his head spots, oh no, there's a player now chasing me in uniform.
The Kyle Williams part that's not caught by the meta glasses but was caught by other people in the stands that was so funny was the streaker falls down on his own volition when he sees Kyle Williams approaching. Kyle Williams still walks up to him and touches him while he's down out of instinct.
Let's just play all that again so that people can see the planning of this. But the funniest part is when you hear in the streaker's throat, oh no, there's a player, and it's not even one of the big ones.
I got this. I got this. Yeah! Let's go! Come on. Come on.
I'm not kidding you guys when I say the angle of the sort of referee type uniformed security in front of him when they're in front of him and he jukes them feels like something out of a video game. It feels like something that you would spot in.
He's down.
About the 7-yard line.
That's exactly what I thought it would sound like at the end of one of those. Is like, all right, you got me.
You got me. I'm down. Don't roughhouse. I'm sure those cuffs you put on me will be put on me gently because that's it. I'm down. I've sacrificed myself. Are you really a streaker if you're wearing pants? Don't I need to be calling
Gotta
you
commit to the bit.
something else? Don't I need to be called?
Gotta be in underwear to be a streaker, at least.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Are you a streaker if you're wearing pants? And then the next question I have on that is, what do I call you if not a streaker? You're not just an intruder. Like, how do I properly identify what this person did? I can't do it. A trespasser?
Pitch invader is what they go with in Europe.
You gotta just go streaker, I think.
Now that Roy is bringing up trespasser, I meant to bring up something with you guys. I don't know if you guys have seen the Netflix documentary, My Secret Mall Apartment, where
haven't gotten to that one yet.
In Rhode Island, you had a bunch of artists living in a mall for 4 years. Living in a mall where they would sneak into the mall. They had an apartment, and they lived there for 4 years, and they sort of explain it under the idea of these are artists who are renegades, and, in the name of art, they were doing an experiment, but I just called them freeloading trespassers.
So when you say apartment, do you mean just like a hole in the wall? They put like a cardboard box down with a pillow?
So they found a space in a mall, okay, that was ungoverned, and it is actually interesting. They built an apartment there. Like, they took an assortment of things from the outside, bought an assortment of things, smuggled them in, and for years had an apartment that worked, had electricity, and they were living there. They were living there rent-free for several years in a mall, and it was actually interesting. It seemed uncomfortable. It seemed like it'd be cold, physically cold. Obviously, it's not a great apartment, but they had the space to live there, and they were living there rent-free for years, plural. And as an experiment, it seemed interesting. It just didn't seem like something that I've given you all the interest that you guys are going to have on that. I don't think you're going to go now seek out that.
No, I think I got what it is.
Yeah, it seems like you have enough information, but they were law-breaking trespassers, not just merely doing it for the love of art.
Play Boomer Esiason again.
I thought that was a good thing to do with Ian, actually. Pipe down.
We're on a roll, though, with him doing the, Spanish
I know.
thing.
You were literally dancing.
My timing was,
I threw down the number one. You shook it off.
Pipe down.
The pipe down is so good. It's different than shut up and dribble. It's different than shut up and ski.
He's got the perfect opinions for a dude named Boomer.
Yeah, he does.
Pipe down.
Are you guys watching the Winter Olympics?
I'm seeing clips. I'm more of a Summer Olympics guy, but I'm into
Why'd you
hockey.
whisper that?
Well, because, these guys and girls, they train very hard. And this is like the most important thing in the world to them. And to me, it's, I don't know what curling is. I'm 40. And every 4 years there's curling on my TV. I'm like, I think I get the general notion. I couldn't explain the rules, but like, this is peaceful, but I can't really get up for it.
Oh, but I've got to assume that the Winter Olympic ratings are less in Miami than they are anywhere else, that we don't really have any connection points to many of the sports being
Been to the
played.
Kendall Ice Arena a couple times for a birthday party.
We spend a couple weeks in La Montaña.
You guys don't think that the ratings for the Winter Olympics, that gets less traction in Miami than it would anywhere else nationally in our country? I didn't grow up paying attention to the Winter Olympics. The only reason that Lake Placid was something that stuck is because we had to have the biggest upset in the history of sports happen for it to reach my living room.
Well, there are about 4 connection points, and they're all Florida Panthers. And 3 of them are playing right now in Canada.
Well, you guys were scared of the Canadian power play.
Yeah, I want to talk about the hockey because I do get up for the hockey, and NHL players are back in the Olympics, and this is a big deal. Last year, the Four Nations was such a sleeper event that ended up being a North American and global phenomenon, and those guys played for pride. It was amazing, and we were all excited because in just a year's time, they'd be playing for something real, not a made-up tournament. They'd be playing for Olympic gold. And the U.S. kicks things off today for their Olympic journey against Latvia at 3 o'clock. The Kachucks are on the same line with Jack Eichel. That's amazing. But obviously, your main rival here is Canada, and everybody wants to see those two teams match up, especially after their 2 stellar games.
This power play
in the Four Nations. Let me show you a graphic here. This is the power play unit, the first power play unit for Canada.
Whoa!
It's Sidney Crosby, Nathan McKinnon, Sam Reinhart, who's a 4th liner on this team, but for the power plays on the first line. Connor McDavid, who I guess is occasionally manning the blue line, alongside Cale Makar, the best defenseman in the league. This is the nastiest thing I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, they have a combined 572 power play goals in their career.
Who's the GOAT on that line?
So
you could make the argument for everyone, maybe except Rhino.
So a lot of people would say Connor McDavid is probably going to be the greatest hockey player of all time. Sidney Crosby, considered by many to be in that conversation. Nathan MacKinnon's probably playing the best hockey out of all of them right now. Not even probably. Cale Makar is as good at his job that anyone is in sports at their job. You don't see blue liners the way that they make them like Cale Makar. I think right now the argument's probably Nathan MacKinnon, which is crazy.
Goat me, Roy.
Well,
name a GOAT on that line.
I know who he's not going to name.
No, I have to name him. It's Sidney Crosby. He's 23rd all time in power play goals in his career, third active, and power play points 12th all time, second active.
I hope video team has it. There was this video that I stumbled on in my algo of Nathan MacKinnon racing an Olympic speed skater. Who do you think won that? Let's show the video real quick. Here's Nathan MacKinnon against an Olympic-level speed skater in a sprint. There's like blue line to blue line right here. Yeah, Nathan MacKinnon torches.
I think that's the current GOAT on that line.
Yes, there is nothing more terrifying in that sport than Nathan MacKinnon on the rush on a power play. You're dead to rights right now. He's faster than Olympic speed skaters.
I want to just play that again, though, so that people can see this speed skater has no idea how to start this race. And look at how slowly and goofy the speed skater starts the race in terms of running. That is not an athlete going against a hockey player like that. You can tell me that's a gold medalist, but that person is trying to swim through plasma.
You're going to get fired up with the Olympics with that guy doing
like that guy. Look at how that guy starts running on the speed. Now, I'm not saying
it looks like me out there.
I'm not saying it's easy to run on skates, but that speed skater has trouble with his starts. Like, that's a terrible start by that guy. He's trying to run, he's trying to sprint, and he's slow at the start there.
I think the point here is that the pro hockey player is faster, blue line to blue line, than the Olympic speed skater.
But the speed skater's trying to win the race with his hand the way Pablo and Amin did in that race against Billy. Like, you're trying to break the finish line with your hand.
Cale Makar could be the GOAT on that line.
Cale Makar is unbelievable. This is what, it's so interesting about this sport because you can make an argument that like Connor McDavid's one of the greatest skaters of all time. Not just, skaters in the NHL. The ability to skate on ice, he's one of the top 10 people that have ever been created.
This GOAT conversation is presented by Frank's Red Hot. Make every dish the greatest. Eat the GOAT.
That was seamless there. Roy had notes. Did you see that Roy
I can't believe
notes?
he said
Roy
Crosby.
has so much stuff written down right there.
Notes.
He said Crosby.
I can't believe you did that either. I thought your biases were going to grab you, that there was no way. You guys are alleging that's the greatest power play that there has ever been, that there has never been a greater power play than that one. Never in any Olympics. No players have been put together on a line on a power play. Gretzky wasn't playing with four guys that on some sort of Olympic hockey team at some point that rivaled those four guys.
Well, he played with Lemieux, but this is a five-man unit here.
Yeah. Do you know what it is to have Sam Reinhart kind of stick out like a sore thumb?
He doesn't quite belong in that class. Like, there are some names there. Sam doesn't quite fit there. No matter how much we love him down here, he doesn't quite fit.
He was probably like, really?
Yeah, I'm here. Huh?
You got me on the fourth line, but you want okay?
Yeah, okay.
When you ask the question of like GOAT front lines or whatever it is that you guys are talking about, I don't have a great Damashek, but I really wanted to bring out the fake Damashek and be like, well, Dan, in 1982 there was an incredible front line of whatever.
Where's Lewis?
Yeah, the talent in this league, globally and in this league, is just insane. Meanwhile, it's the NBA that's expanding by 2 teams. The NHL, we've highlighted it before on the local hour when we're talking about how difficult it is to make the playoffs. You can add like 5 teams and not lose really quality in this. There's so many good players, and that power play is just one example of it.
I want to do a bit of a palate cleanser here in terms of video here, and forgive me, audio audience, but when I abruptly switch subjects on video, I want to use the Jason Garrett spotting the camera thing that Tony loves so much. This makes Tony very happy, the fact that Jason Garrett isn't great at television, but what he is great at is finding the camera. He doesn't say interesting
He's gotten
things.
a lot better, by the way.
He's terrible at saying things.
Tony Dungy's terrible at saying things. Jason Garrett it looks like.
terrible at saying
Come
things. But the palate cleanser is the tooth gleaming that way. Let's do it one more time where Jason Garrett turns to the camera, finds the camera, and then makes love to the camera. Yeah, always. I like that as a segue into other subjects when we're going into football. Let's start doing that around here. I did find interesting, okay, the way that Radio Row is changing. Twice was enough. Once was probably enough, but I went to it twice. 3 times is definitely overkill.
I think you just made an edict that we have to do it every time.
How about one more?
The way that Radio Row has changed to also take podcasts makes it so that news gets to us a little slower because there is a certain slowness in the traffic of podcasts. This is Cam Hayward's podcast that Joey Porter is on. Diana Rossini is there making the face. You can see the face that something bad is about to come out of Joey Porter's mouth. He's talking about Ben Roethlisberger and Joey Porter. Now, this is days late, obviously. News travels very slowly from Radio Row and the new podcast industry that is Radio Row. But here's Joey Porter talking about champion teammate and quarterback Ben Roethlisberger.
7 definitely broke the brotherhood because, like,
that's the one I don't understand.
The 7 dude that we don't talk about.
I know.
is crazy. Like out of anybody should talk, he should never grab a microphone and really talk Steeler business. Yeah. Because if we talking Steeler business, his ass is foul of all foul. Like the that he's did is foul of all foul. He's not a good teammate. Won a Super Bowl with him, but the person, he's just not a good teammate. Like, he knows that. Anybody in the Steeler building knows that, but we protected him because I've only won 1 Super Bowl, and that was my quarterback. So do I love my quarterback? Yeah, but is he a good person? No.
Put it on the poll. Does Ben Roethlisberger know he's not a good person? Because Joey Porter is saying that Ben
noted good person, Joey Porter.
Well, let's look. I don't know if we're going to do a bad person off, but Ben Roethlisberger has done some foul of all foul things.
Yeah, no, he's got stuff.
We're going to rank stuff.
Yes. Yeah, well, but Joey Porter's a funny...
but I'm not even sure that's what he's talking about. Like, that's where my mind went.
Think it is.
But he's talking, but then he invokes the locker room.
He's not talking about that when he's saying bad teammate. He's not saying that's not what he's saying.
He says bad guy at the beginning. I mean, I could be wrong, but I took that as he's talking about off the field.
I mean, he's done some things we don't even talk about.
Yeah, which is we talk about the other stuff with Ben Roethlisberger. Like we have. It was a big story. And he was looking at Cam Hayward there, so I'm like, no, something must have happened in that locker room that you're protecting him. My mind went like, that was the obvious place, and he gave so many context clues, and I'm like, there's something else here.
I do want to introduce, though, a new generation, okay, who may not know that Joey Porter Sr. has a past that is super complicated if you're somebody who only knows Joey Porter Jr. because he plays in the league now. When I think of Joey Porter Sr., the person calling Ben Roethlisberger a bad person, you have seen that Jeff Pearlman has gotten very popular sort of talking about players from the past and teaching young people things they didn't know about players from the past. Joey Porter Jr. has a resume. He was shot in the butt. I think it was on his wedding day. I'm not totally sure. That's a terrible thing to have happen on your wedding day. But the story that I associate with Joey Porter, because he had an assortment of bad stuff around him, was being his neighbor, because his neighbor had a miniature horse that was attacked and killed by Joey Porter's dogs. And Joey Porter was somebody in that league. People were afraid of Joey Porter with good reason.
Yeah, there's a list of 4 incidences here. A 2003 shooting incident, which is the one that you were referencing. He was shot in the leg and the buttocks outside a Denver nightclub in 2003. But he was the victim, not the perpetrator of said crime. 2006, the dog incident. He was cited for harboring dangerous dogs, failure to confine, and licensing issues after his dogs escaped and killed a mini horse on a neighboring property. 2010, there was a DUI. In 2017, a bar altercation.
If that's a regular size horse, not funny.
Yeah,
mini horse, I have to laugh.
Mini horse, I'm like, well, that is better.
Bye-bye, Lil Sebastian.
I don't want any of this to sound as a defense of Ben Roethlisberger.
It does. Sure feels like it.
No, but it's two people.
Can I go write a song instead?
Yes, please. Get out of here.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Man.
Go
Which
to
sponsor? Frank's Red Hot? Or
Man,
do
for a
whatever you
moment
want.
there, I thought we were going to get a picture-perfect toss to highlights.
Did you?
Yeah, like we were so good, and then it just went away.
You wanted me to talk yet more about the Cyclones?
More?
More about
more as if you talk about the champion Cyclones at all?
And the Undertaker? I talked about
Undertaker.
That's how little you talk about them. We own a team. This show owns a team.
Go ahead and throw it to the jailites.
A championship team, and I'm going to go ahead and do that. Thank you for a conventional toss. Highlights. That's right. Spring season has started back up. We begin highlights with Zuleika in the first match in our brand new Jam Arena. Spring season. Look at this. Both feet off the ground. He looks like the logo. Unbelievable catch and toss.
Doing Sports Center right now. I love this.
Incredible. Dan, what is your favorite Zuleika moment? Is it that one? I bet it is. Next, we shift over to the Cyclones, who in a championship rematch against the Devils yesterday, 3 o'clock on YouTube and ESPN, the app. Manu, our brilliant backcourter, with a kill shot. Singles match. Look at this. This is why he's our captain. Look at the placement there. We expect a lot of points from that backcourt now that at Jam Arena we have a much larger court and it sounds different.
Did I see his ass crack?
He's got like a weird back.
Jessica will be here in a moment as soon as we get her internet fixed. At the moment, you can see her frozen on the screen, sort of mortified at the very idea that her internet is frozen. We will get that unfrozen in a moment, but we will have for posterity heard erizada is the word that I would use in Spanish.
Good word from you.
Just filled with an uncommon terror. I want her to settle a debate for me that I just heard in the eating area because Lewis and some others were complaining about a dog being in the studio. But before we get to that, I'm surprised Sam Darnold specifically isn't doing more of what Ernest Jones IV is doing when he's in front of people and trying to rally Seattle at the championship parade. Nobody believed in us, obviously, so Ernest Jones IV has some words for the people who are doubting still the mighty champion Seattle Seahawks.
Shout out to these badass mother who play this game the right way. Hey, not only do we have the best defense in the world, we got the best team in the world. And quite frankly, if you got anything to say about my quarterback, you got anything to say about my defense, you got anything to say about our O-line, and you got anything to say about the city of Seattle, I got two words for you. You.
Yeah, not the most subtle of the two words. Behind him, there are guys with solo cups and middle fingers. There's also somebody pantomiming the spanking of another person. Let's see if you change the two words, what would it sound like if you diluted slightly the two words?
Shout out to these badass mother who play this game the right way. Hey, not only do we have the best defense in the world, we got the best team in the world, and quite frankly, if you got anything to say about my quarterback, you got anything to say about my defense, you got anything to say about our O-line, and you got anything to say about the city of Seattle, I got two words for you.
Pipe down.
The pipe down doesn't really work as strongly. Mike says,
a little softer there.
Boomer, say it with your chest. Say what you mean. Pipe down. He meant bleep you, and he said pipe down.
May I just add to my original point? I don't like just merely dipping your toes in the water and having to put together context clues as to what you actually mean. I got zero respect for that.
I got that from you earlier in the show.
I felt like I was very unclear when I called him.
You weren't. The conversation in the eating area about Ethan's dog, it reminded me, I liked having Willow around. I liked it when Jessica's dog was here, but Tony's making faces now. And I heard a lot of slippery slope. What if we all brought our dogs in? Would you like that then, Dan, if we all brought our dogs in? And obviously I would like that slightly less, but I think I would
Down
also
one. Let's do it one day.
I think I would
Let's
also.
not.
I think I would
Don't schedule me
also
that day.
like that. But Jessica, what are your thoughts as Lewis and others complain about what they say is the Amin complaint? They don't want Ethan's dog out there. The dog is also a beggar. Same way Willow was. More than Willow was actually.
I feel like it's the third time this week that Ethan brought his dog here today.
Yeah, he is doing it a lot. That is correct, but it's causing office tension. That's not my office tension. Jessica's biased here, obviously, but I feel like people had fewer problems with Willow than they do with this animal. What's this animal's name?
I don't
Percy. Percy.
Mally, you think is this
No,
dog's name?
it's
Like
yeah,
Mike
I
Malley?
call it Mally. No, I call it Mally after Malachi Tony because the dog is named Percy after Percy Harvin, and we settle that whole Florida thing. And Mally responds to Mally.
Dogs are dumb. You can go anywhere near their name and they'll
Hi,
respond.
my baby Mally, and wags her tail, rolls over on her back.
What are your thoughts here, Jessica? Welcome. Any admonishments that you want to send the group here?
Who's a pussy? I agree. They're definitely a pussy.
Okay.
I don't like to use that word. I think it's derivative.
I do. It's accurate.
That animal though does look a bit disheveled. Percy looks a little bit like Percy's been beaten down by life a little bit.
I mean, it's walking on a torn ACL because the owner just is a reckless person.
Jessica, are you
There you go, zoom
following
in
the
on the
Winter
ass.
Olympics here? I can't get anybody around here interested in
I'm not down with the dogs with the exposed asshole. There, I said it.
You're putting me in a bad spot with the dog thing, Dan. I got nothing on the dog.
Just that dog's asshole is rubbing up all over the couch. Like, if you want to bring Percy in, either a diaper or have the tail go down. I don't know how you do that. Maybe a brace, but exposed
sell,
assholes, I don't like it.
They sell these things, I think, on Etsy for cats that cover their bort holes. They are like a little
They're
you know
what?
how horses, they're buttholes, Tony. They're buttholes.
Okay, you said
know how
bort. I don't know what that means.
A bort hole. How horses have the little blinders that they put over their eyes sometimes so they can only see, they can't see. Like they have that, but for cat buttholes.
Is it a slippery slope? How many dogs is too many dogs in the workplace? Because I don't feel like one is. No, Tony, you're saying
One is enough,
All right.
yeah.
Put it on the poll.
that
Make
board hole all
make
over
the
that guy.
question. Make the question. The poll question: 1, 2, 3, or over 4. How many dogs is too many dogs in the workplace? 'Cause
Can I just say really quick in my defense, Dan, about this whole dog thing? We had sort of an agreement with the dog thing because we didn't get our schedules until Sunday night. So if I needed a dog walker, it was generally too late to schedule earlier in the week. And that's when I would bring Willow into work. It wasn't because I didn't feel like it, but Ethan knows he has to be in the office every single day. So there's a little bit of a difference
Oh,
there.
but wait a minute. I thought you were proudly bringing your dog Willow into an office that welcomed Willow, regularly welcomed Willow. I didn't realize that this was the blame that needed to be filed at Carl because he's a bad scheduler. Like I thought Willow was always made to feel welcome here. I thought, well, you brought Carl into it by saying you were scheduled on Sunday nights. I didn't bring Carl into it. I wasn't even thinking about Carl. I haven't thought about him since he broke a bottle over someone's head in one of those intros. In Jeremy's head. The idea that a dog would not be welcome in a workplace is not something that I had considered. And
this may be my last day here, and so I will say the office was very welcoming of Willow, Dan. So she was welcome back every time. But it was very nice to have somewhere to bring her early in the morning when Lehman was off shooting his fancy schmancy documentaries. So thank you to everyone for
I
being
thought
very
Amin
welcoming.
was the only one with the objection, but now I'm learning Tony is all upset about this too.
It's not that I'm
He's
upset about.
He's pretending. He doesn't actually care.
It's just a big ass dog. I'm sitting on the sofa. The big ass dog. Instead of sitting on the sofa, what Willow would like to do was sit on the 2-inch portion above the sofa and sit there like a boa constrictor across the entire sofa. It's like, come on, dude. Like, give me a
so the
break. I'm trying to
sofa
sit
was
down.
clear.
Something we're not considering is that leaving your dog home is an option.
No, not for 9 hours.
Dogs get left at home for 9 hours all the time, every day.
All right. Well, Willow can't stay at home that long. She has to go out. Do nice doggy. Some people say do your stuff. Some people say take a dump.
She has separation anxiety, right? 9 hours is too much. Like, not your dog.
No, she's just, it's a long time. She needs a walk.
Are you following the Winter Olympics? I can't get anybody in Miami interested in the Winter Olympics.
It's honestly disgraceful, Dan. We recorded Mystery Crate already this week, and other than Chris Cody, I couldn't get anyone into it. I've been watching it nonstop. I thought this was a sports show, okay? It's February. Football season's over. We've got like some sports going on, but not a ton. Like this is wall-to-wall sports. From the minute you wake up in the morning, it starts. And then you get to watch it all the way through prime time at night. Sometimes you get to watch stuff twice, which is awesome. And you already know what's going to happen, which I kind of like later on in prime time. But apparently no one in Miami gives a shit, and it's terrible.
You like that? I thought most people didn't want to know the results. I thought one of the great joys in sports is not having the result in hand. When I was in New York, Hank Azaria has this habit of avoiding all things so that he can watch sports results the following day without any access to the internet because he doesn't want to know the result, and the game gets ruined for him if he knows the result.
But Dan, he's also incredibly rich and doesn't really have to work. Like, so he can do whatever he wants and then watch the game the next day. The rest of us have to go throughout the entire day, talk to Mike. Hey, Mike, he just told me the Canes got fined $50K for the court sauntering. How am I supposed to know that if I want to wait till tomorrow?
You can get fined $50,000 for just merely sauntering onto the court, unsure.
I did not know that. I can't believe you got fined for that. It was the most peaceful, slowest, kind of indifferent court malingering that I've ever seen.
I think we waited for UNC to leave the court.
That's why if you're going to break the rules, like respect to these Winter Olympians that have broken rules, because that's been a big headline. You just got to go all out and break the rules. If you're going to storm the court, have some conviction behind it.
What stories should we be following or not following when it comes to the Olympics? Because I am legitimately surprised that you're saying the result in hand is something that makes you enjoy it more. I thought you want your surprises there.
I'm not exactly saying that. I'm saying that, like, sometimes you get to, since there's so many things on in the morning, sometimes you see a result, and then when they replay it in primetime, you know, it's like one of the big events that they're going to re-show you. Like when, you know, the U.S. figure skating team won gold. I had already seen the final skate from the, you know, star U.S. figure skater, but then I got to watch his program again in primetime. So I was surprised the first time it happened. You know what I mean?
I think the problem for Miamians is we just don't have connection points in doing the things that
I don't have connection points to any of this. I grew up in Chicago and I've snowboarded like twice in my life.
Okay,
but it's cold over there and it
yeah,
snows.
It's cold. I don't know. Like I've been in a bobsled before. Like I thought we killed it.
We kicked ass that
was
one
pretty
time.
easy actually.
I don't think that many people have connections to it either, Mike. I think the Winter Olympics are typically, I mean, like the U.S. in particular doesn't even have that strong of athletes in a lot of the sports. Like a lot of the sports are being dominated by Norway and Sweden and Switzerland and Finland. And the U.S. is like, yeah, we got someone kind of in the mix, but they're not a favorite for it. So there is a lot of this that is totally unfamiliar to, I would say, most people.
I love when the figure skating commentators turn into Tony Romo and they're like, there's a big one coming up right here. This is the one they got to land. Because they, like, know the whole program ahead of time. They, like, know when the big jumps are coming. So that's one of my favorite things when they, like, start to predict what's coming
Would
next.
you guys do me the favor, please? Because I don't actually know the history of this. How much older are the Summer Olympics than the Winter Olympics? Because I thought the Winter Olympics, when she mentioned Norway, the thing I thought of is I assume that the history of this, and this might be totally ignorant, that the history of this is the Winter Olympics get created because a bunch of people from Norway can't win the Summer Olympics. So they have to develop a bunch of events that are not unlike the triathlon. The moment that the Kenyans all started winning the marathons, they're like, you know what we're going to throw in here? Cycling and swimming, too. I bet they can't win at everything, and we're going to change this event so that we can have more people win it.
Summer is 28 years older, so 7 Olympiads.
Okay, I assumed that it was older. I thought it was much older than
The Winter
that, so-
Olympics is pretty old. And actually, Dan, I was watching the opening ceremony with my mom, and she was like, very confused, I think, and was tearfully telling me that the Winter Olympics didn't exist when she was a kid and they only had the Summer Olympics. And then I was like, I Googled it. I was like, no, Mom, you just Mandela affected yourself. Apparently there have been Winter Olympics since 1924. And they actually were, that was like part of the opening ceremony was they went back in time to the 20s and like came all the way forward to the 2020s.
What a liar. So what did you enjoy, did you enjoy going to the internet and exposing a loved one as a liar?
No, she's deaf. She wouldn't have heard me anyways. It's fine. I just let her have that one.
Do you have a top 5 list for us that might be Olympic related, or can you throw one together off the fly because you're an amazing ad-libber?
I can give you the top 5 worst storylines of the Olympics so far, because there's been a lot of drama, Dan. Some like funny drama, and then some like pretty serious drama, including today a Ukrainian skeleton athlete who was DQ'd for having a helmet that had photos of deceased Ukrainians on it that were killed during the invasion from Russia. He was told he couldn't wear it, so now he's disqualified. I read that in the Wall Street Journal this morning. So there's legit.
I don't think that deserves that.
That was like an OLI.
It's OLI,
Yeah, but I feel like we need to do this better, because that's also kind of a sad one that shouldn't
It is
have
sad,
that.
yeah.
It made Boomer Esiason cry.
Yeah, you can't
No, it's
do this.
horrible. But there are a lot of things that I have been following that have been quite controversial this past week and quite dramatic, to say the least. So I'll start with number 5.
But this is controversial and dramatic, or worst stories?
Yeah, we'll go with all the above.
Okay.
These aren't your heartwarming ones, because like you could get that top 5 list anywhere. There's a lot of those.
Okay. Number 5.
This happened this morning. This American snowboard cross athlete got disqualified because he bumped into the guy behind him somehow, and he ended up having this like huge come from behind finish. So spoiler alert if you're going to watch that tonight, and I'm sure they're going to replay it on like the main show, but they claim that it was intentional, so he got disqualified, whereas there's unintentional touching between snowboarders that you don't get suspended for. You get like a yellow card for. So they completely
Jessica,
disqualified.
I'm sorry to do this to you. Tony, you want to teach her how to do this? She's out of practice on the top 5. She's got to come in and give us a couple of words and then explain the story so that
So you basically say
headline, sounder, then you explain.
Yeah, somebody got bumped. And
snowboard
then
came from behind.
It's just for the timing, because Chris is.
Now what happened was there's a snowboarder and he was driving down the thing, and then all of a sudden he got hit by the thing.
I'm playing double dutch
Jessica,
here.
he's distracting me because the whole time he's waiting to hit the fanfare, and you're just explaiing the story.
The guy who doesn't even know when his mic is on is telling me how to do a top 5 list. Okay.
Who's Zaz? I agree.
Okay. I'm just saying we need something quick on the top end.
I thought you were going to make fun of spoiler alert, because I
No, that was bad.
That's
too.
tricky.
Yeah, that was bad
Stugotz
too.
never got that one right.
Yeah, it's tough.
Number 4.
Biathlon.
There you go.
It's actually 2 biathlons.
I don't like it. I don't like it one bit.
We're dancing.
Don't like it.
Is the French biathlete who won yesterday was actually convicted of credit card fraud against her teammate a couple years ago, had to serve a suspension for it. And then when she also claimed, Dan, that she doesn't remember committing the fraud. She blacked out. She doesn't remember actually doing the credit card fraud, which is kind of a great excuse. But anyways, very not nice. Don't steal your teammate's credit card and spend a bunch of money on it. But then when she won and crossed the finish line, she shushed the crowd. And it's like, wait, but you're the one who's you're the baddie. I don't.
Why athletes? I don't know about it. Unless it's a girl, and we like that. It's okay.
Number 3.
Okay, this is a male biathlete, so.
No.
Fanfare. Yay.
That's the most efficient that fake Joe Zagacki has ever been. No.
Zagacki has never been that outraged. No.
I don't know why he's giving me dap, but honestly, this is a terrible character.
Number
for his
3.
Legacy.
You guys might have heard about this guy who was begging for his girlfriend back after he won bronze the other day, and then his girlfriend was ex-girlfriend, I should say, clearly was not very into it. So it was pretty.
Won bronze, but what if he won gold?
He cheated on her, right?
He cheated on her and then was like, I really effed up. This has been a horrible week for me, and I want her back so much, and I hope she comes back. I made a huge mistake, and did this all publicly. So publicly revealed that he cheated on this woman who I don't think her identity has been revealed, but she did an interview and she was like, yeah, this has been a tough week for me too, and that didn't need that.
Number 2.
So this was a pretty controversial ice dancing result, Dan. The United States ice dancers, the favorites to win gold.
Chris, that was on you.
That was tough.
She paused and everything.
I was like, why'd she stop
She
mid-sentence?
paused for you.
We need Sky Judge.
She slowed it down for you, Chris. That was her trying to help you.
They lost to a French team that, legitimately, this French team has, there's a Defector article about the transgressions of this French couple, and people should read that because it is like there's legitimate abuse allegations involved. But the American ice dancing team, they're married couple, Madison and Evan, Chalk and Bates. They're, one of the best in the world, and this was their moment to finally get an Olympic gold medal, and they didn't do as great in their there's like a short program or a rhythm dance and a free skate, and so they didn't do as well in the first one, but it was really close going into the longer skate. And then they had an amazing free skate, and it had tons of points. It was like their season best in points, and everyone's like, all right, like they're probably going to win the gold. But then the French team went next, and the French team, Dan, they effed up their twizzles. Okay, this is important, and they still came in first and won the gold.
Put it on the poll, please. Did the French team F up its twizzles at Le Batard Show? Number one,
this is pretty obvious. This is like the worst thing I've ever seen. Lindsey Vohn's crash on Sunday morning was horrible. I don't know if you've seen the picture of her in the hospital recovering from her surgery.
It looks like a Connect set.
Apparently, I was deep in a Reddit hole at like 4 a.m. reading a bunch of doctors like analyzing what this fracture is like. Apparently, that is some sort of like stabilizer that stabilizes your femur to your fibia or something like that. And so that she's had 3 surgeries and she's probably going to need more. And it looks really nasty, and I feel awful for her. I was up at 5 o'clock on Sunday watching it live, Dan, and the build up to it was like really exciting, and like it was just so like they were building towards her. She was the 13th skier to go down. The American was already in first place, Breezy Johnson. It was like super dramatic. She's on top of the mountain. She's like doing deep breaths. It's like silent. And then 13 seconds in, huge crash. Dan Hicks is like screaming his head off. You can hear her like screaming in pain. It was awful. It took 20 minutes to airlift her down, or airlift her up, I guess, and then down to a hospital. It was one of the most brutal things I've ever watched.
So you got up at 5 o'clock in the morning just to see this live. You didn't want to know the result. You wanted to be there and experience all of that as it happened, and then were quickly horrified and had your day ruined.
Pretty much. I mean, it was a tough way to wake up. I mean, but not as tough as the day she had. So
yeah, that's brutal. I want to get to some other things with you, but before we do so, your halftime Super Bowl halftime thoughts as America is arguing about halftime things.
To be honest with you, I was a little disappointed.
Easy.
I was a little disappointed, Dan. Look, I've been a fan of Bad Bunny for a long time. I watch all the videos. I see what he wears when he's in Puerto Rico. I see the shorts. I see the little, dance move he does. You guys know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
He came out on stage at the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Full long sleeves, pants. Thought we might maybe get a costume change. Keep in mind, us straight women are coming off the most feral January of our lives in the wake of the heated rivalry series coming out. Okay. And I thought maybe we'd get to see a little bit of thigh.
Yeah, she's right.
Well, the thing is, when he does the jump into the La Casita and then comes out, he's going to attend a wedding. So you can't be in a wedding in shorts and a
But he's
t-shirt.
wearing gloves and he's not showing much of any skin.
Yeah, but Dan, do you wear skin at a wedding or no?
Well, I mean, he's a fashion icon, though.
Sure, okay, you're not.
Lizard Man, do you put on your skin suit for a wedding?
Do you?
I don't think Lizard Man. I don't think that's necessary.
Would you make a Lady Gaga?
If you wore skin.
It was more making fun
Would
of
you make
Tony's
fun of
question.
Lady Gaga's dancing?
Me?
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was great, but I did, 5-inch inseam wouldn't have killed anyone.
No, that's not true. She preferred this halftime show, this alternate halftime show.
Welcome to the Turning Point USA All-American Halftime Show.
Yeah.
And this one's for you, Charlie.
I wrote this next song with a good friend of mine by the name of Colt Ford. I know something y'all don't know.
So they could say what was on their mind. This is what's on mine.
My name is King.
There's a book that's sitting in your house somewhere that could use some dusting off.
I don't doubt that.
There's a man who died for all our sins, hanging from the cross.
Please, no more.
jorts, and multiple mic flips.
To be fair, though, 55.
He got up there.
He got up there.
In all
He
seriousness,
loves that move.
The fact that that was covered credulously by mainstream media outlets is embarrassing. Like, everyone should have said from the jump, this is full diaper baby conservatives having a temper tantrum about Bad Bunny, and just called it what it is and not been like, here's a legitimate entertainment option for halftime, because that's what, like, that was, well, come on, what are we doing?
It was for Charlie.
Was that a question?
Was
the
it
gag
a statement? It was a statement. Declarative.
Did you not hear Brixton Brindley?
Lee Bryce has something going on with that beard. I'm looking into it.
Okay, you keep an eye on it. All right, I think you've made your accusation public now. I think Jessica's the only one around here who likes mascots more than I like mascots. Admittedly, I like them more than anyone else here. Do you have any mascot news for us? Anything in the mascot kingdom that has gotten your interest lately?
Well, as a mascot lover, Dan, maybe you could tell me why Otto the Orange was being scolded at the Syracuse basketball game last night, because I saw this video this morning of him being just dressed down by this woman, and I have no idea why.
And he puts his hands on his head like, oh, no.
Well, he's holding his tiny baseball cap because he's clearly being punished. He's being reprimanded, but he also seems playful on the front end. And his face doesn't change. He seems to be smiling the entire time, so he doesn't seem to be that upset by what's happening.
I don't know about that.
What is this person on the right doing? Playing piano or something? What's going on here?
Might be a bongo segment there. You know, they have the bongos on the halftime show. You're like, oh,
I love that.
A slow bongo play.
I end up looking like Lady Gaga, though, at the halftime show.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Do you love to pantomime the bongos on the Jumbotron? Yes or no? Check out her weekly Notre Dame podcast, The Echoes, with Mike Golick Jr.
Echoes.
Jessica, thank you for being on with us. We appreciate the time.
You guys should watch the Olympics. Bye.
This is not an echo chamber. Is the James Harden thing in Cleveland going to work?
No, it can't.
He had 4 blocks one game. What?
It can't. It can't work, Dan. It can't work.
You know,
you take Cleveland, and then you take James Harden, two teams and a guy that can not perform in the playoffs, and you put them together, and then you think that 2 negatives are going to make a positive?
It's crazy enough that it might. I got to say, it's going a lot better than I thought. Now, I know the playoffs are a different game. I know that. But I got to eat it a little bit. This is a better fit than I thought.
So Donovan Mitchell needs the ball, and Evan Mobley is not presently playing. And in Evan Mobley's absence, Jared Allen is an improved player. This is always something that's interesting to me when the 4th and the 5th guy become the 3rd and the 2nd guy. And then I expect the team to get worse, but I realize the 3rd or the 2nd guy is better than I thought he was. We cannot dispute this, right? No matter what your criticisms are of MVP, Hall of Famer James Harden. Not having Darius Garland available in any meaningful way to this team for the last couple of years in a way that make it better. If I eliminate that and add James Harden, I am better. Hard stop. That's not going to be subtraction no matter what you think of James Harden. He's going to be better than the remains of Darius Garland, who has given them nothing. That team, I have told you the last few years, cannot beat the Knicks the way they were formed. Mitchell Robinson eats up their front line. They have no chance against the Knicks the way that they were formed, and I don't think the Knicks are the best team in that conference. The Detroit Pistons are far and away the best team in that conference, but I believe the audience at large believes in the Knicks more because the Knicks have 2 stars you've heard of, and that's the only reason that they're doing it. They're doing it because they're believing in Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns for some reason more than they're believing in Cade Cunningham and the rest of what it is that the Pistons have.
So your analysis about the Knicks and Cavs and the matchup issues that Mitchell Robinson in particular presented, it's on the money, but James Harden has that skill set that could actually do something about that.
Oh, I'm thinking that this is something that can make will make Cleveland better, period. Will it make Cleveland better enough, as Windhorst sits here and wonders aloud on ESPN? Hey, LeBron and Cleveland are an option after this season. He's saying Cleveland is absolutely a place to watch for LeBron here next season. And I'm wondering if Cleveland has solved some of its organizational and architecture issues because they've gone out and, in exchange for Darius Garland, gotten a Hall of Famer who can score.
Absolutely. Like they've improved. If you look at player A and player B, and it's Darius Garland and James Harden, yes, you have improved. But they were almost a 65-win team last season and got smoked in the playoffs with basically the same team, right? When the playoffs come, Evan Mobley, his health is going to be a question mark. Jared Allen is going to get played off the floor. Like, that's just what happens when he's there, especially with guys that he can't guard in the Eastern Conference. There's going to be one ball. James Harden and Donovan Mitchell are going to have to fight for that one ball, even though Harden can play point at some points and he's great as a lob threat. Like, something's got to give there, and I don't feel like James Harden is the answer.
He might not be the answer, but you're not going to be able to do a lot better than that in the discount bin. Like, in terms of what you could have brought back for Darius Garland, there's not a whole lot of help me more now that you could have gotten than the guy they got for Darius Garland.
Yeah, they probably, their fans probably want a championship answer. Maybe this isn't an answer, but it seems like it's certainly a solution in terms of like some of the adversity they meet come playoff time.
To your point, though, like, there was nobody better that they could have gotten for a Darius Garland that hasn't played in, 8 months. Ooh, hold on. The bongo's in front of us. There hasn't been a player for the last 8 months of Darius Garland who hasn't played, basically, even though he was an all-star. To get James Harden for that guy is an absolute steal for the front office at Cleveland.
I want to play.
I thought, go back there and play with them if you like. I thought that when Cleveland got to the playoffs last year, I thought that they were going to be better. I thought that the New York Knicks were not going to be the matchup problem for Cleveland that they ended up being. And to my way of thinking, the Cavs should have the best roster in the conference. If I say to you, who would you rather have, James Harden and Donovan Mitchell or Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson as your two best players, don't you take the former? If I just say, I'm giving you two players, you're starting. Now, I know there's more to it than this, but, Evan Mobley, when he gets the ball, is a really exceptional player, and I don't like Bridges. I don't like Josh Hart, whoever it is, Anunoby, whoever it is you're making the Knicks' third best player. Like, I don't think he's as good as Evan Mobley.
You're 100% right. Like, if you look at the two, but if you extend it to three, they may have the best three in the Eastern Conference. If you look around, obviously Tatum's not there. You look around the Eastern Conference, like Giannis is basically out of the picture. Who else do you have?
The Cavs also have in Merrill three-point shooting. Like, they have just a lot of stuff that I would want. And I know people are saying that they've tired of Kenny Atkinson, but it's legitimately confusing to me the way that team's gotten worse. That team, look, when Mike starts complaining about the Miami Heat, and I just think about how hard it is to stay up there, I really thought the Orlando Magic were doing the kinds of moves that would make them make the ascent that Detroit has made, where they can also be a problem for the Knicks. I thought that the things that Orlando did, when you look at what's just changed, look at what has changed in, I'm going to say, the last 18 months since a Mikal Bridges costs you 5 first-round picks. A Rudy Gobert costs you 5 first-round picks. A Desmond Bane, when you're the worst. The Orlando Magic were the worst three-point shooting team in the league. What do? They give up a bunch of future for Desmond Bane. They're a play-in team. They are not going to make the improvements that need to be made in order to knock off the Knicks, even though I think they present matchup problems for their Knicks with their youth and their length. But every time Banchero plays and Franz Wagner's not out there, Banchero ends up making them worse.
That's the issue, right? Their foundation, their idea was correct. The foundation of what the Orlando Magic are built on is a player that is inherently super flawed in Paolo Banchero, who is not super efficient, who will take it on himself to outshoot the team from that game. And it's a tough situation when you got Franz Wagner, who I actually really like, who I think is a good second piece. He's kind of in and out of the lineup, always hurt. But the foundation is Banchero's an all-star. He's going to be an all-star for 10 years. And you're looking around saying, he's okay, but he's not great.
One of the things, though, that's happening for James Harden, which we were talking about earlier as it related to Kyler Murray. Man, when it comes to hope, another man's trash is a new fan base's treasure. They're falling in love with the beard in Cleveland because of what he represents.
Did a beard giveaway.
They knew what they had there was not good enough. Can you guys find for me the photo that I believe is shocking of James Harden without a beard? Because you will understand why he wears that beard that way when you see him without a beard, because he's doing something stylistically and optically to just hide everything that's going on with his face. But he is somebody who is embraced in Cleveland now as if he's the shiny new thing who represents, oh, this is going to change our team. Do you understand?
As if.
But do you understand that the rest of the country is looking at what Cleveland just did and making the obvious jokes about, oh, what could possibly go wrong in ingredients? A team that has trouble in the playoffs is adding the player most associated with playoff trouble in that entire league. In fact, who's second now? Now that we've gotten rid of Carmelo Anthony.
Playoff P.
Okay, yeah, I guess we're still
He's
counting
out too,
on
though.
him some way.
CP3. Played more games than Tyler Hero this year?
There is no player in the sport associated more now with playoff failure than the one Cleveland has added, and yet he represents hope to Cleveland and the novelty of the beard, because what's more exciting than a scorer? Like what in that sport gives you more enthusiasm than a guy that you know can make 10 threes in any game and can get all the threes?
White.
You said that in the wrong voice.
No. I remember the Birdman acquisition. Nothing gets you ready for the home stretch like a high-energy white. Ask Cleveland. They know all about Delhi.
A high-energy white, though, I feel like that should have been delivered in the Zagacki voice.
No,
why not?
That's a serious because I've been like, dude, the magic of March Madness. What is the secret sauce? We've been telling you, white guys. And high-energy white at the right time, right around that deadline, can change fortunes, and it certainly ignites a fan base.
Can you guys please help me with my new transition into more football talk and going from a high-energy white into just football conversation with the Jason Garrett palate cleanser there at your leisure, please? I just need, for a transition, Jason Garrett sort of staring at a camera, making love to the camera, and that gleaming sparkle of a tooth. Jeremy, as you run back
Lewis
in here
loves you right now.
with
Yeah,
your
no, it was a
song-
great idea to have a video queue up before we play another video.
That's
We're
right.
certainly capable.
I did inform him of that, though. So let's play the Jason Garrett tooth, please. Thank you. Myles Garrett and Micah Parsons are getting into a back and forth about who's better. And I want to start with Micah Parsons. I think we all agree, right? There's no dispute about this. No matter how great you think Micah Parsons is, the general consensus, to the degree that you can get a consensus on anything in conversation these days, is that Myles Garrett is better at this than Micah Parsons. That's not much of a slight on Micah Parsons. But Micah Parsons obviously does not believe that. So let's hear this back and forth, please.
Cowboys, Packers, we all know the truth.
Oh, them Cowboys fans don't love you no more.
That record is only going to stand but for so long.
It is still currently my time.
Because I still do things that none of y'all do.
Who's none of y'all? Just because your light is brightening itself doesn't mean mine is dimming in any way.
I'm just saying, I played 13 games. So obviously, I'm getting to the quarterback.
In 13 games, I had 18 sacks. What do you want?
I need whole season statistical categories.
You ain't play a whole season.
We lost half our starting lineup and still made the dance.
Yep, and when you had your full starting lineup, we punched y'all in the mouth.
How many games y'all win?
5. Hey, and guess what? We doing the same thing.
That was great.
They're good talkers, the both of them. Micah Parsons he's unusual in that not a lot of people are doing what he's doing. I know podcasts are prolific everywhere, but there aren't a whole lot of other Cowboys who are that interested in the off-field life of creating content that they're doing as much in podcasting as Micah Parsons is. But if you want to hear some more sound on this before Myles Garrett starts dunking on him with better arguments, Micah Parsons legitimately thinks he's better. Listen to this sound.
Like what? Yeah,
Hold on.
Thank you, bro.
Hold on.
Hey, what are we talking about?
Hold on. yes, that record stands, and we're not taking that away. There's nobody in the league who can line up from left to right and play every position as if they got paid at that position. Facts.
I have a sack at every spot across the line.
You can have a sack at, I'm talking about truly play it at my weight.
I can't be 240, bro. That's
Facts.
That's not what I'm asked to do. I actually got to set the edge.
No, I
play the run.
Hold on.
Get to your films.
I get those too.
You got like 4 in the last 2 years.
That's cap. That's cap. That's cap.
All right, little cap.
That record is only going to stand for so long.
It is still currently my time.
That's right. It's Thursday Thunder, and it's presented by DraftKings.
That's right.
DraftKings. The crown is yours. Juju, what do we got?
Yes, sir, man. Thursday Thunder. We got the Lakers taking on the Mavericks. We already know what that be doing every time they play since that big trade, since the biggest transaction in history. Max Christie is returning back to his old stomping grounds. So I'm going with my boy tonight for 3 assists at least. Next, we got the news yesterday as well that Cooper Flag went down. You dig? And that's get well soon, young brother. But that means my boy Najee Marshall is going to have to step up. And when he step up, he get in them boards. And he going to get at least 6 rebounds tonight. John. And last poll. And last leg of the parlay. Yes, Thunder. Thank you, Chris. The Lakers will beat that ass tonight. They don't stand a chance without the Coopster. Even though the Loopster is out.
So you've got them covering 7, or you've got them on the money line? You've got them just winning the game.
Just winning the game, because the Lakers are down a lot of people too, and I don't like how Rui Hachimura be doing certain things in certain spots of the game. So I got them to win the game, but not by much.
I saw the box score of the Lakers the other day. I'm like, where did all their points come from? And I'm looking at the box score, and I'm going down, and not until I get to the last one, and then it says Austin Reeves 35. Then I'm like, oh, okay, that's how they ended up doing that. They say in Lakerland that is not a championship team. LeBron is saying it flatly. His agent is saying it flatly, but Juju's got them winning tonight. Before we get to the polls and before we get to Jeremy's song, do you have a Joker of the day for us, Juju?
Yes, I do, man. Joker of the day. The Golden State Warriors, man. See, this how they do you, man. This is exactly how they do you. They put out a statement and said that Jonathan Kuminga, family member, was taking too much food from the family room. Come on, man. You know what them folk contract worth, man? Each and every one of them individuals. This proof, man. If folks don't like you, they gonna always find a way. They gonna throw smut on your name some kind of way, bruh, just to further their agenda. Man, you ain't gotta do all that, bruh. You got, damn, Jonathan, you see, he got 2 bowls of Cheerios. Did you see him? Oh, damn, you see Jew? He got 2 bowls of beanie weenies. Like, bro, come on, that's hating, man. If you don't like me, just say that, bro. And salute to Steph Curry for stepping up and said, this is ridiculous. I'm sorry, bro. Go be great.
Just as a small correction, and you correct me if I'm correcting you wrong, Juju, I don't think Golden State sent out a statement. I believe that there was a report that sort of studied everything that was happening with Kuminga and the fracture there, and there were leaks in the organization. But it's not like they put out on letterhead through their press people, hey, Kuminga's family members were stealing food.
They may as well, bro. Big brother, I'm going to let you know something about the hood of America. It may as well have been to us in the hood, because we see that come across the thing in big bold letters. Bro, that's just smutting the name. They ain't stepping up and saying this is false. They ain't stepping up and saying anything outside of making him look bad every step of the way. You see how Mike Dunleavy tried to do him? Oh, for there to be a demand or trade demand, there has to be demand. All they do is down talk this young brother, man. It's Black History Month. Happy Black History Month. We got to do a better job of taking care of our young brothers.
All right, fair enough. Let's keep it a little more positive then than the Joker of the day. How about a salute of the day? Do you want to salute anybody today?
Yes, sir, man. I salute to Steph Curry for that. But as well, I want to salute Nickeil Alexander-Walker as well as the Minnesota Timberwolves, man. They've had a game the other day against each other. You know, Nickeil was a long-time Timberwolf, and after the game, each and every Timberwolf gave him their jersey, signed a little personal message, and it just reminded me, bro, like, that's what it's about, bro. No matter what, and this just goes out there to everybody who always hit me on the DM. Even though you wear a different jersey now, bro, even though you got new teammates, bro, you still our brother, bro. We love Stugotz around here. We love Billy around here. We love Izzy. We love Taylor. So just because them brothers is doing their own thing now, reminder, those are our brothers. So business is business, but we love them. You feel me? Like, never forget that. And that's a great example, and I commend the Minnesota Timberwolves for doing that.
Maybe not Taylor.
Stugotz and Company, wherever it is that you get your podcast. We'll get to the polls in a second. Before we do so, I will remind everybody, after a fun night in the NBA last night, that Juju and Trista are crushing it on Alley-Oop, and you need to support Juju and Trista wherever it is that you want to be getting your basketball content that also extends beyond basketball. They've got wonderful chemistry together. Let's update the polls here at Le Batard Show. Juju, what do we have today?
Yes, sir. I always do a bad job of that right there. I got to clean it up like Greg Cody cleaned it up. It's at DLS Hoops is where you find us. And on Fridays, we're dropping episodes on the YouTube feed of the Le Batard Show as well. You feel me? For the listening audience. At DLS Hoops, please, we need you right now because, boy, we are struggling. But we are a part of Metal Arc, and we are happy to be here, sirs. Love.
We'll take all that out. Just beep all that out. Make sure that nobody hears him say that he is struggling, because he's not struggling. He's crushing.
We are an unbridled success.
Right. Help a brother out. Better love. First or last? Come on. What is it? I mean, 66% of the audience says your last love. Of course. I don't give a damn about my first girlfriend. She kissed my ass. I love my baby.
I don't think Dan ever answered.
When you get to eternity, do you just want to be left alone? 81% of the audience says yes.
That conversation was something.
Right. We need to bring back the Magic Creator content, bro. We need to put life, blood, whatever amount of manpower we need to do, because those moments be awkward as hell. The audience was speaking on that. We got to get Dan up out of there. We got to get you up out of David, man. Every now and then. We're having a cry off. You did? Exactly. But not here nor there. Have you ever smuggled salami? 82% of the audience says no, they have not. Damn it. Did Dominicans perfect salami? 58% of the audience says no, they did not. Are you a streaker if you're wearing pants? 97% of the audience says no, you are not. And last poll, how many dogs? Hold on, let me make sure I got the right one on the X. But while I'm transferring and stalling, James Harden in Cleveland is going to make sense because he doesn't have to be a hero in Cleveland. They usually expect stuff from him. All he has to be is Ty Jerome in Cleveland. All he has to do is have a good toe. And Darius Garland did not. He did neither here nor there.
James Harden, who's regarded as maybe one of the top 5 shooting guards of all time, needs to be Ty Jerome.
That's all he has to be. See, I'm glad you opened it back up because he has expectations everywhere else. All you got to do over there is not drop the ball. I believe in him. How many dogs can people bring into the workplace before it becomes too many dogs in the damn workplace? 57% of the audience say 1.
Thank you.
And those are your polls.
Thank you, Juju. We sent Jeremy away, as we have for several hours at the end of every show this week. He looked very frustrated yesterday when we caught him voyeuristically. Have you heard, Jeremy, that we were watching you as you performed that? It felt a little bit like watching somebody when they're showering.
Yeah, that was as vulnerable. When I found that out, I was legitimately angry. And all of it, like, really? I was, Dude,
Yeah, it
you know
wasn't a
how
good look.
vulnerable that is?
We've
and then to
broken
find
Jeremy.
out
saw it.
after?
Yeah,
we saw
did.
how vulnerable
It was like
it was.
Uncle Frank in Home Alone doing
That is
cool
the
jerk.
worst.
We've broken Jeremy.
It
Yeah.
felt wrong, but it also felt like a winning position for you. It seemed
Nope.
lovable.
You can keep saying that.
But it was also a crime, an actual crime. I believe that. It was a crime.
He
I think
knows
you're
he's
good.
on air.
You put
you're
me
good.
on a
He works
nationally
here.
syndicated program without my permission.
The Dow is up 50,000.
What is the song that you're performing, and what is the sponsor that we're
This is for
celebrating here?
DraftKings, where the crown is yours. This will be a Billy Joel song, Moving Out.
Thank you, Juju.
Yes, sir.
Get to my Friday and now I will look for good ways to spend my next weekend. I'll bet on some football and get me some dough. The Niners are playing the Titans. And I'm placing a parlay with the pick and a sack without any touchdowns. Because I know that when they're playing Mac Jones, I'm gonna get all my money. And it's never a waste of time, cause DraftKings knows what it's all about. DK while it's filling up, then I'm cashing out. I'm cashing out.
Do it better. We're Cuban, I thought. Stop being so awkward.
I feel like a mummy.